I should probably do this, huh? Hello. How's everybody doing? Being pretty petty is giving wait, hold on. Of Desi being petty is giving conservatives W. They normally wouldn't be getting in a debate with him. The thing that I saw that you said was that, like, the Dems looked bad because they wouldn't concede on something. Let me, you know what? Fuck it. I'm scrolling up. All right. I'm looking for it because I thought it was stupid. Like, I saw it and then I went and watched the debate. They somehow barely managed to squeak out a win and look stupid during some parts in the convo about Trump and democracy because of how they always want to frame shit. Are you talking about the Republicans or the Democrats there in that conversation? Also, it's not jumping me to your actual thing. The framing, I'm sorry. I agree with the liberals, all right? And I've been trying so hard for the past couple of weeks, okay? Because it feels like there's nothing to discuss with these people because their entire thing, it wasn't the liberals, it wasn't the Dems that were framing that discussion badly. It was the conservatives when they said that, oh, well, because we interpreted the topic in this way, therefore you need to concede the entire debate and then we can move on to what the discussion is right now, which is what the debate was supposed to be about the entire time, okay? What I'm noticing is there is no, like, you're even saying it here. Republicans have to defend Trump. It isn't possible, so don't narrow the subject down. The only people that are like fighting and dying off of the framing of the conversation. Just don't narrow it down to only January 6th. Okay, hold on. Maybe we're talking about two completely different things. They were the Republicans. I'm saying Republicans. The conservatives were trying to reframe the entire debate as if Trump wins, then democracy will end immediately. He will end democracy forever. The topic was, is democracy on the ballot? And then their framing of that prompt was fucking crazy. How's it going, my neighbor guy? Okay, you were talking about something else. Maybe I would agree with you if I like knew exactly what part of the debate you were talking about then. But yeah, like it almost feels like I had a brief exchange with some Twitter reply guy, like Destiny reply guy. It was a brief interaction on Twitter where I was like, man, I don't even know what the fuck the point is, you know? I don't know what the fucking point is of having conversations with people that are so obviously wrong that they're not even capable of really pretending that they're right. They're not even trying to pretend that they're right. They're trying to just like tear down the other argument without any positive argument themselves. And they're trying to completely reframe the entire fucking debate based off of like one word. You know? Like if we were debating about if Israel will invade Iran, you wouldn't expect the prompt to be, will Israel destroy Iran? Yeah. Weren't wrong on anything at all. Yeah, I must just not be. I don't know which part of the debate you're talking about then, like specifically, because I was kind of like mostly passively listening to it until they got to the part where they were super fucking hung up on shit, and then I was just like, let it end, let it fucking end. What's your position on Israel war of genocide? I'm probably not as like pro-Israel as some people, but I certainly don't agree with most of the like pro-Palestinian talking points, because it doesn't sound like they're arguing in good faith half the time. So that's where I'm at. Israel should try to wrap things up and should try to minimize casualties as much as possible, but like the Palestinians fucking lie. Like what? Fuck. I don't want to get like super deep into this because I haven't looked at the what's going on over there in a while, because there's stuff going on here that I'm looking into. But like the death counts, let's debate it. Do we have to do it right now, or can I have like a day or two to to prepare? Because I'm not prepared to debate it right now, because I don't know what new stuff has happened. I don't know anything about like what's happened over there in like the past month or two. All right. The most engagement that I've had with the topic in like the past couple of months has been the protests here at home. We can have a conversation. All right, but I'm just not prepared for that conversation right now, because if you bring up something and I don't know anything about it, I'll have to grant it to you for the sake of the conversation, and I'm not prepared to have that conversation. Can we do it like later this week? Like, give me a day of preparation. I'm like Batman. If you give me a day of preparation, then I could do anything. No, because I know Omar, and he knows a lot. He knows a lot about this because it's like one of his big debate topics. I'd rather like have a day to look up stuff. Yeah, shoot me a DM on Discord and we can set that up for later this week. Hamas turned down the latest hostage deal and Israeli civs burned some homes in the West Bank. Jesus. Should narrow the prompt? Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. But he said that we can set it up, so we'll set that up in DMs. Omar thinks if Palestinians don't defend their homes, they should get popped in the head by their own. Please tell me you don't actually believe that, Omar, please. No? Okay, good. No Arab on Arab violence here. Really quick. I talked about this guy very, very, very briefly one time on stream, but his stuff still pops up in my shorts feed on YouTube. So I get occasional updates on this guy. He's like, it's like a weirdly endearing rural, like isolationist, hyper libertarian, but also strangely like Christian conservative type dude that lives, I think, in California. Used to work for the fire service, like the forest management service in California. This is just curiosity. I don't think this will even be a segment or anything.
Beloved, welcome back. A lot of you have been asking what's going on with this. I thought West Coast guy was tougher than making a big deal about a little broken finger, and I would agree with you. I wasn't even going to deal with it.
Sounds like a cool guy. Like he seemed like, honestly, he seems like a cool guy until like he'll just like say some like really weird out of pocket shit out of nowhere, right? Which, like, me being myself, I can look past a lot, you know? Like, I don't really care what politics my content creator has unless they're a literal fucking neo-Nazi or something like that, right? Or really annoying about it. But like, this he's not super annoying about it. It's just like you wouldn't expect it from him, right? Just given the content that he has, you know? I've been seeing lots of his shorts lately. Isn't this guy fucking crazy? Like, he's wild. He's very entertaining, and there's some stuff in there that's like pretty, pretty interesting to watch and stuff. But like, I remember the first couple of times I saw his stuff was like just random forest stuff, like forest fire stuff, how to cut down a tree and shit. You know, this is why West Coast men know how to use chainsaws and East Coasters don't, you know, like fun little stuff like that. And then one day it was just like how to make like defensive caltrops for your property so that the government can't get in. Like it's just like fucking out of nowhere type shit, you know? There's some wacky conspiracy stuff. Yeah, exactly. And like I could deal with the conspiracy stuff because like even in the way that he does it, it's kind of like it's almost endearing. It's almost endearing. I don't know exactly what I would call it, but that's where I'm going to put it. Almost endearing. But I guess he got injured. So I guess I'm just watching this because I'm curious what it was. What happened?
Welcome back. A lot of you have been asking what's going on with this. I thought
about using the foundation vents as portholes to provide a 360-degree defensive coverage around your home. No, I fucking didn't. No fucking shot. That's real. Actually, you know what? Given everything that I've seen from this guy, it's absolutely possible. But it's just like, Jesus. Hey, man, if you find that, link it in chat. I want to see it.
Coast guy was tougher than making a big deal about a little broken finger, and I would agree with you. I wasn't even going to deal with it. I pulled it out and put some tape on it. It was my broken rib that it was my problem. So what happened was after the speed run, I wasn't running the camera. I was on my way home, and I dipped into a little forest, and I tried to ram.
To be fair, laying caltrops should be legal. Well, I mean, it's not that it's illegal. That's the issue. I don't know if it's legal or illegal. I would assume, actually, I think that there are laws against booby trapping property. I don't know what the rules are around booby trapping your property, but it's not the legality. It's just like out of nowhere, suddenly there's a zero dialogue video all of a sudden of him just taking like metal grating and then showing you how to sharpen it up and make caltrops. It's just like very interesting.
Jarvis over a big tree and ending up looping.
Oh, 1 second. What did you say?
Run. I wasn't running the camera. I was on my way home, and I dipped into a little forest, and I tried to ram Jarvis over a big tree and ending up looping out, falling backwards, and putting like a punji stick right in my back, which cracked my rib right where it goes into the spine. And something in the melee tore up my finger and broke my ring finger on my right hand. Well, that was no big deal. Apart from being 20 miles from home, it was a rough ride home. But I got home, and day 3, day 4, the finger...
I'm sorry. The idea of sitting at home with a broken finger and a broken rib and not going to the hospital. Go to the hospital, guys. You're not less of a man for going to the hospital if you have a broken bone. I don't care if it's a broken toe to get a splint for that, right? There's nothing not masculine, not man about going to the fucking hospital, okay? Like, I was in the hospital for on and off, like from the end of May through the beginning of July, right? I can't remember exactly when it was, but I was in and out of the hospital, and it took people pushing me to go to the hospital to go. And if I hadn't gone, I would have lost my fucking kidney. Rib, there is no point. Well, granted, I've never had a broken bone, but like, you don't know if like the rib might be like causing internal bleeding and like punctured something. You don't fucking know that, right? Depending on how bad the break is, like you should go to the fucking doctor.
It was getting worse and worse, and the swelling wasn't going down. And sometimes you just know when something is wrong.
Yeah, when you have to snap the finger back into place, that means something's wrong. That means go to the doctor.
What happened is I had an open fracture. Now, I didn't know what a big deal this was until I went in. I made an appointment with the orthopedic surgeon that fixed my broken leg from 2 years ago, and she got to looking at it, and she said, "When's the last time you've eaten?" I said, "Well, I just had tacos like an hour ago." She's like, "Be here at 9. We need to go into emergency surgery, because when you break a bone and it is exposed to the outside and it got a bunch of dirt and stuff in it, dirty dirt bite gloves, and it was...
You had an open fracture? The bone was showing? And you didn't go? Bro.
It was...
Okay, I'm sorry. The bone was out.
It's a life-threatening thing, or it can be. You can get a terrible infection. So
what a
Mrs.
fucking
W and I
idiot.
just chilled around there, and they reopened the hospital that was closed for the weekend. I felt so bad to drag all those people out that were on call, but what a wonderful experience. The good folks at Providence were truly amazing.
He just found it. Yeah, it turns out that rub some dirt into it doesn't apply when you have a fucking bone sticking out of your skin, guys, just so you guys know.
It was just wonderful. So we went in for emergency surgery, and she reset it because it was all jacked up and healing crooked, cleaned everything all out, and put me in the lobster claw here. So this is where I'm at. So when I went in, I was really complaining about what really was giving me trouble was the broken rib. And she essentially told me, you're just going to have to suck it up and deal with it. It's 6 weeks of pain, and there's not much we can do. But the finger was the bigger problem. So that's why I'm wearing the lobster claw, and that's what happened. Lessons learned from this.
Go to the, is he going to say go to the doctor when you have a broken bone?
Don't cross logs when you're over 50, and don't go out riding 20, 25 miles from home without having a buddy. It hurt so bad coming back, I had to ride with my left hand on the throttle, and I kept giving myself little milestones. I read a book years ago about it.
Oh, and he was on a dirt bike all the way home. Oh, shit. You know that shit fucking sucked. A dirt bike and a broken rib? Fuck.
A guy that was left for dead, I think it was on K2 or Everest or some big climb, and they thought he was dead, and his partner abandoned him, and he ended up just crawling his way down. And how he got through it was he just
showed up in my shorts feed on YouTube, and it's just like every once, like I used to see them all the time, but it's kind of slowed down pretty significantly since I want to say like beginning of the year.
Gave himself little goals, just if I could just make it to this rock, if I could just make it to this tree. And that's what I was telling myself, as the shock starts wearing off, like, okay, if I could just make it here, then I know I have cell service. I'll call Mrs. W and then she can meet me. If I could so I just kept going and eventually got home. So that's what happened. Broken rib on the back, 6 weeks. I'm going to not be able to lift stuff, but it's not terrible. It's only terrible when you try to sleep because I move around a lot. And then this guy here, we're going in right now, and then she'll take it off, and we'll see. Hopefully we didn't get an infection in there, but it feels good so far. So I really do appreciate all of your prayers, all of your kindness, and that's the explanation of what happened. So I've got some very excellent low-effort content planned for you when I get back.
I thought that it was going to be worse. He said, my situation has gotten worse, and that's all I saw there, so I can't imagine. Probably an ATV. I don't know how you would drive home with a broken finger on a dirt bike. I mean, he said he did it. He said he was on a dirt bike. Yeah, I don't know. I was on my grandfather. I grew up in like deep South rural, like that's where I was born in Arkansas, and my grandfather, he went hunting all the time, and so like when we would go to the hunting lodge, or they call it the deer camp over there, we like, it's mostly when I was younger, I would go out and I would just like take the 4-wheeler and I would go around and just like drive around on that. And he got rid of the 4-wheeler and got one of those. It's like a 4-wheeler crossed with a golf cart. Wait, where did he say dirt bike? Oh, fuck.
Beloved, welcome back. All out and put me in the lobster was the broken rib, and she essentially told me there's not much we can do, but the finger was without having a buddy. It hurt so bad coming back, I had to ride with my left hand on the throttle. And I kept giving myself little milestones. I read.
He's talking about this thing right here, I think, and he's going like this, which isn't what you have to do on an ATV or like a 4-wheeler, right? Like a 4-wheeler, at least the ones, like every single 4-wheeler I've ever been. Oh, you call them side-by-sides? Yeah, my grandfather got a side-by-side. And the side-by-side has better suspension, okay? Has better suspension than the 4-wheeler did. And like going through some of the bumps in the woods was pretty rough. even going real slow because my girlfriend was with us for the first time, meeting my extended family, and um, we were going through, and I was trying to like make it real smooth and not very bumpy and all that shit. But dude, even going slowly, you're, you know. Our thumb throttle, is that like the little lever that you press with your thumb? Because that's what I've always used. So I assume that if you're going like this, and I'm pretty sure he's talking about using a dirt bike. We'll watch from the very beginning again.
This guy was tougher than making a big deal about a little broken finger, and I would agree with you. I wasn't even going to deal with it. I pulled it out and put some tape on it. It was my broken rib that was my problem. So what happened was, after the speed run, I wasn't running the camera. I was on my way home, and I dipped into a little forest, and I tried to ram Jarvis over a big tree, and ending up looping out, falling backwards, and putting like a punji stick right in my back, which cracked my rib right where it goes into the spine. And something in the melee tore up my finger and broke my ring finger on my right hand. Well, that was no big deal, apart from being 20 miles from home. It was a rough ride home, but I got home, and day 3, day 4, the finger was getting worse and worse, and the swelling wasn't going down, and sometimes you just...
Yeah, I just assume he's talking about this because he's going like this, and it's in the background there, and yeah. Yeah, it has automatic transmission. Four-wheelers, at least the one that like my grandfather had, was manual, and you had to like crank it, and you had to like shake it so that it would start working, because he had it since I think like around the time that I was born. I'm pretty sure it was just like an ancient fucking thing, you know. Man, it's been a long time since I've been on like a proper like four-wheeler, you know. Anyways, that was just something that I wanted to watch because I've seen that guy. So, all right, what should we start with? So, some Trump news. Also, in order to try and I'm trying some new search engine optimization stuff on YouTube. All right. So I have Trump news and Kamala news, or Kamala news. I need to get in the habit of saying her name correctly. Kamala news in YouTube. So people that are one second. Yeah, just basically trying to get people that are like more interested in the news aspect, since I mostly do news, and seeing if we can bait some conservative people that disagree with me, or some leftists that hate me in chat, just try and do that. There's an anti-Wrangler Star YouTube channel. Why is it anti? Why are you? It's so weird. I'm pretty sure that like that guy, he was part of the Forest Service, the U.S. Forest Service, while making content, and then I think he got fired because in one of the videos that he posted, his son was wearing his U.S. Forest Service like gear, and I guess that's a big no-no. At Sondsol, you want to debate in chat? I don't know what that means. But anyway, yeah, that guy, I think he got fired from the Forest Service for like something like that. It's because people online were like insane. I mean, like, I understand being, not liking someone's content, number one, not liking what their ideas are, number two, anything like that. But what the issue that I have is if this guy's making like mostly harmless content, right, and he has a job on the side, right, and you get him fired from that job on the side, well, what is, like, if this is now something that he's doing like big time on YouTube, now you're just enabling him to make YouTube videos full time. You're enabling that, fired for the gear, but I don't think they liked him doing YouTube to begin with. That's probably fair, right? But I'm pretty sure it was people tattling on him, right? That firing seems so sus, it wouldn't surprise me if he made it up. Well, I think he mixes in some of his like political and like moral things into the middle of it, instead of it just being informational, DNC started hundreds of protesters came out for Pro-Palestine. I want to look at some of the DNC stuff, because all I know is that the pro-Palestinians were planning a massive thing for today and throughout the week for the DNC. So that'll be interesting to look at. What's your position on Israel-Palestine? We very, very briefly went over it on within the first 5 minutes of stream. I it's nuanced, I guess. I'm not like as well read on things as like Destiny or someone that's like a hardcore debater on this topic. But my assessment of the situation is Israel probably has the right to take out Hamas. They should minimize civilian casualties to the best of their ability. I think that's like I find it harder and harder to believe some of the stuff that comes out of like the Palestinian health ministry, right? Centerish. Yeah, I'm very, very slightly probably on the side of Israel in terms of like this specific conflict and where it's gone so far. But yeah. Pro-Palestine Chicago demonstrations. Well, the Ginger Free TV guy just like shows live feeds of stuff, right? He's not like giving any. He's not like talking about his opinions on it at all, or like going into like what's going on. He's just like watching the live feeds. So we probably won't look at him unless you link something to me and it's interesting. Anyways, let's watch this thing on. This is Let's Talk Elections. He's a guy that I've been going to for polling news. He's like some sort of Harvard educated political science guy that I think that I've kind of sussed out that he is more liberal in terms of biases, right? But I don't think that his conclusions are ever biased. His conclusions are fairly well substantiated and fairly well grounded in like the numbers. He doesn't ever like say, oh well, I still think that Florida has a chance to go to the Dems, type stuff, right? Only minor commentary on the event. Yeah, the only reason I say that is because like if I'm gonna watch something, I'd like to see it like if there's analysis on it, or if there's like I don't want to just like see a bunch of feed unless it's like actively going on right this second, All right. And so that's the background on this guy. He probably has a little bit of a liberal bias, but in terms of the conclusions and the analysis he gives, it's pretty, based off of the data and based off of things that if you're into political science or if you know anything about like polling, you would already take these things into consideration. But if you don't know anything about polling and you don't know anything about like the historical context behind like certain districts and stuff like that, he'll go through and explain that for us. Of the March Now, we'll link it to me, please, while we watch this, and then we'll pull that up next.
Today's video. Today is Monday, August 19th, 2024. Happy first day of the Democratic National Convention. As we are less than 80 days out from the presidential election this coming November, Donald Trump's campaign team looks like it's on track for a potential shakeup as Donald Trump is...
also, for those Pokemon heads, okay? For the Pokemon heads out there, I've been doing a little bit of grinding off screen, all right? I got myself some... Let me see here. Some of evolutions happened. All right, so we got our Flaffy turned into Unice, the Ampharos, Bayleaf, Poliwhirl. We got our Larvitar still. It's going to take a while for that guy to evolve. We got a Machoke. We got Crobat. And then I'm trying to figure out, I don't remember how to... I guess I'm being ignored because he answered that earlier on stream. Wait, did I ignore you on stuff? Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus. Do you think I'm sorry, I didn't even see it. Do you think the pro-Palestine stuff will hurt the Dems? I don't know. It depends on, it totally depends on how big the protests are and how how it goes. Like it just depends. You know, can we swap the YouTube and Pokemon positions? I thought you wanted the videos right above my head for shorts. I mean, I can. All right, thanks for that answer. Yeah, the answer is like I genuinely have no idea, just because I don't know the scale of them and I don't know what's going on inside of them. All right, before I continue, Tron, editor, my man, is this not how you want the layout to be? Because I could make the Pokemon thing smaller. For talking faces? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I understand what you're saying. Sure. We can do that, and then I can pull this over here probably. How's Okay, we're back. Okay. Tron, we're not moving it again, okay? I'll make this slightly bigger just because I don't like how small it is right there. There we go. Not moving anything else. At least not right now. All right, now we're watching the video.
Exploring the opportunity to fire his campaign managers, Susie Wiles and Chris LaSavita.
Okay. I don't know what the deal is. I forgot to turn off my DDoS on Sondsol. It's just the program. But it's not the same thing that happened before. I have a mean coworker. Well, if you want that solved, you're going to have to donate quite a bit of money, all right? I don't work for free on that one, all right? There's legal risk. Okay, we're just going to watch this.
As of late,
I'll stop playing
as the numbers
Pokemon,
have really narrowed for the former president. When he was up 5-6 points in nearly every single swing state against Joe Biden, the numbers have gotten far closer and in some cases have actually moved over to Vice President Harris. When we take a look at where we are in a number of the battleground states, we can see that against Biden, Donald Trump was absolutely demolishing. In Arizona, the Trump versus Biden numbers had Trump up 5.8%. Today, he's up on average by 0.2, according to Real Clear Politics. And even in Nevada, a state where Trump had done phenomenally well in comparison to where...
What makes him piss? Means I'll make some piss for you, man. There you go.
He was in 2016 and 2020, losing the state twice, both by 2.4%. In 2024, his numbers were up 6 points against Joe Biden, up 7 in the most recent poll taken before Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Today, nearly a month later, Donald Trump only maintains a 1-point advantage.
Any word back? What are you talking about? I did 8? Oh, I'm not doing it 8 times. All right, I need that water for later.
And as you continue, in Wisconsin, it's another perfect example of Donald Trump being up 3 points against Biden, being down a point against Kamala Harris. Being down in a swing state like Wisconsin is a really bad sign, as it was the closest Biden state out of the Rust Belt states. And one of the polls suggests that that might be true yet again. In Michigan, Donald Trump is losing by 2 points to Kamala Harris. In Michigan, was up 2 points against Joe Biden, a universal 4-point shift in both Wisconsin and in Michigan. When it comes down to Pennsylvania, Real Clear Politics is holding on to this Trump lead by really the narrowest of margins. Trump is up 0.1% against Kamala Harris here. We expect this lead to change change in favor of Kamala Harris, a massive, massive uptick in support for the Democratic nominee here. But against Biden, it was a 4.5% race. And so across the Rust Belt region, a universal 4-point swing in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania that is now translated to states like Arizona and Nevada, and again is not a good sign for Donald Trump in the slightest. North Carolina being within a point, Georgia being within a point. These are all states that Biden was being demolished in the matchup against Donald Trump, a 4-point race in the state of Georgia against Trump. For Biden, a 5-point race in North Carolina. Both of them now only have Trump ahead by 1. And recent polls, really strong, high-quality polls like the New York Times and Siena College, an A-plus rated pollster, have Kamala Harris ahead by 2 in North Carolina. And so really in large, what I've come to understand over the past few weeks is that there is something fundamentally flawed about the top of the ticket on the Republican side. The political instincts that the Trump campaign is...
The polling that's come out, like now that it's been a couple of weeks since... one second, do I even have this? Yeah. The polls that have come out for Harris and Trump are just so unbelievably bad for Trump, dude. President, general election. Can we see like a... Let me go back. I think that there was a Rasmussen poll in Pennsylvania. Rasmussen is a dog shit pollster because it is so unbelievably partisan. It is unbelievably partisan for the conservatives. All right. They always survey people, and it's rated so poorly because they always favor polling things that will make the Republicans look better, right? Rasmussen had Harris up by like what, 2 to 4 points? Let me see if I can get Pennsylvania. No, that's not what I want. Let me see if it even has it on here. No, they didn't include the Rasmussen one here. But like, look at these. Harris is up in almost all of them, and the ones that Trump is up, he's up by +1. All right? That's like the best case scenario for him is he's up +1. They were quick to release a new poll. Oh, did they do another one too? Oh my God, Rasmussen is saying Harris is up by 4% nationally? What the hell is going on? Sort of like CBS, NBC, ABC. No, those are not. I don't know what their rating is off the top of my head, but I don't think that they're rated as low as Rasmussen. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just read that wrong? Oh, Trump leads Harris. Okay, by 4%. Okay, I was like, damn. It was just yesterday that I saw, 1 second, Rasmussen poll, Pennsylvania. Look at that. It's already right there. Yeah, 1 day ago. How did they follow up 1 day later with one that says +4? Yeah, I'm sorry. I misread it. But yesterday they had one that had her up by how much? Blah, 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 blah. Michigan, Pennsylvania. There's a tight race. In that survey, Trump is 1 point ahead in a head-to-head matchup with Harris. However, the Democrat is 1 point ahead when the third-party candidates are factored in. Okay, so maybe that's the one that I saw. But still, 1 point ahead. Rasmussen's new poll, which was conducted in 1 point in a head-to-head matchup. Harris lead expands to 3 points when third-party candidates are factored into the polling. Damn. Jesus Christ, dude. It's rough. It's rough out here. And these polls, right now, they're serving as a basis for Harris wall sims to avoid having to talk about Harris's campaign nothingness, except for we've talked about the issues with her campaign every single fucking stream. So, and the things I think are acceptable, understandable, and unacceptable, yeah, you can cope all you fucking want. The same problems with the polls in 2016 and 2020 manifesting themselves again. The problems we saw in 2016 with the polls was that they were underestimating the Republicans. From 2016 until 2022, which is the last election that we have to go off of, they overcorrected for that in such a way that the Democrats were always underestimated in the polling averages from 2016 until the most recent elections that we have. I honestly don't know why everyone hyper focuses on polls. Well, the polling is good for seeing the snapshot in time, like at that moment in time, right? And so the snapshot in time that we have right here is that nationally, Harris is up by 2.9% on average. It's not something that's the end all be all, and we still have 2-3 months until the election. So we got time for things to change. Absolutely. But polling isn't the end all be all, but it's also not useless. I'd say it's rated higher than a lot of other things, but it's not the number one and or only thing that you should look at in terms of whether someone's going to win or not. And she's a black woman. That's it. Until late last week, no one knew what her econ positions were, and we still don't, absent a few weird proposals. Yeah, that's one of the criticisms that I had of her, but it's also understandable. It's a criticism couched in an understanding of most of the time when people run for office, they usually know that they're going to run for office well in advance, right? And they usually have a team that's sitting there drafting up their policy proposals, and they have something ready to go on day one. They didn't know that Kamala wasn't going to run until, or was going to run until like end of July. All right. Anyways, let's keep watching.
Exhibited.
Wait, that doesn't make sense. Kamala was Biden's VP. She'd have a similar, if not identical, economic policy since they were running the same campaign together. The VP, yes, would have similar, if not identical, economic policy since they were running the same campaign together. But now it's Kamala with no Joe Biden. So while you're right, they'll probably have similar ones, but she's probably going to have like a different agenda than Joe Biden because they have to distinguish her from Joe Biden because she's her own person. She's going to be running her own campaign. She's not running a shadow campaign for Joe Biden to take over afterwards, right? She's not campaigning for him, right? The VP is going to support whatever the president wants. They're a team, but the president has the final say, or the person running for president has the final say on what the policies are going to be. How much can we expect Harris to vary from? I don't know. We'll have to see once the policies are laid out, once they actually have like a fully written out policy platform, right? Part of the reason Kamala has legitimacy is that she was Biden's running mate. So when Biden dropped out, she was the logical next choice. Yeah. And part of the reason that Joe Biden dropped out of the race is because people didn't want him to run again. I don't understand. If you're going to be running for president, You don't want to be saying, I'm just going to be standing in for this guy that like I was the vice president for. That would be a worse look than not having anything at all, I think, personally. What, you can't think for yourself? Like they have to come out with their, like, even if it's like very, very close, even if it's like switching around just like one or two things or putting something higher on a priority list than another thing, like they're going to be wanting to put things out that show that she's her own person. There isn't even any room for disagreement here. This is just like the way it is. Okay, we got to finish the video.
Would tell me that if they were in a different circumstance, the 2016 or 2020 elections, when we were talking under a Biden presidency,
subbing,
this would have been a campaign that was on track to lose. In 2016, he had the right people to meet the moment. In 2020, he very clearly did not. Donald Trump lost the election and just couldn't overcome the amount of support that President Biden had across these battleground states. But it was this election that was really where Donald Trump came into it being the front runner. Ever since he announced in November of 2022, the numbers looked more favorable for Donald Trump than any election prior. And when you take a look at the national numbers, you can even agree to that point too. Even compared to 2020, Donald Trump was losing on the national polls on election day by 8.4%. Today, Kamala Harris only leads by 2.7%. That is a vastly different margin, but it's also a margin the Democrats are quite thrilled about because at the same time, they look at this from the perspective of where they were under Biden. And also the fact of the matter is that the quiet Trump supporter that you saw in 2016 became less apparent in 2020 is even less apparent in 2024. And in the immediate aftermath of the assassination attempt on the former president, the amount of outpoured support we saw from nationally, at least outspoken support from Republicans, even independents who leaned right wing, people like Elon Musk, celebrities that had really stayed out of the fray, largely speaking. Elon Musk isn't really that type of guy, but generally speaking, we saw that a lot of the celebrities who were pro-Trump, pro-right wing, which we knew were Republicans, came out of the woodwork and ended up supporting the former president.
Biden dropped out because he couldn't win, and the reason Kamala got Biden's delegates, so to claim, and the reason Kamala got Biden's delegates, so to claim that Kamala doesn't have any policies ready when she was running with Biden is very strange, because it means that she either doesn't agree with or know the previous policy she was running on. Not at all. They just have to make it her own. It might not be like big changes. It might be some minor changes, but they have to make it her own. Both because of the moment that we're in and because no one's claiming that she doesn't have any policies, but she didn't expect to be running and having a whole platform that she had to push. I just don't understand what I'm saying is getting lost in translation, maybe? Across all Democrats on education? No, it's not complete uniformity because there's different groups of Democrats, dude. She ran for president in 2019. If you aren't ready with a full policy package yet that says a lot about your own ability, do you think that... Okay, I'm sorry. You guys are just wrong. You guys are so fucking insane. I'm so sorry. Like, this is crazy. The policies that she was running on in 2019 were like the policies that she would be pushing as a primary candidate. I'm sorry. This, I don't know where it... Does she need to stop and think? Do you think that writing out like all of your policy proposals happens overnight and doesn't get like focus group tested and shit like that? Like, that's what I'm talking about. They have to go through the whole process. Like, again, They're not going to pull a Donald Trump and just copy and paste. DM. Oh, hey. I got a DM from Danabo. Uh-oh, look at that. And look at that. They why did you use the picture of me flipping off the camera? Although I will say this, probably like out of every time someone's made like a thumbnail or like an advertisement with my face on it, they usually pick like some of the most like dog shit pictures of me. Okay. This is a good picture of me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. Let's go. I think you should be able to do it in 2 hours. Based. Hey, I said I was sorry for that. I'm not talking about you, okay? Where did you even find that picture? Like, I thought that was a picture I posted on Facebook or some shit. It doesn't matter. Oh, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm looking forward to this one because Drone Tech is going to be there. And because Drone Tech's going to be... Last time I talked in voice with him, he deleted his entire fucking Discord server. Wake me up from a drunken stupor and I'll throw you a decent policy package. Hey, you know what? That's cool for you. But it wouldn't... I mean, I could probably do something similar, but it wouldn't mean that it's a winning policy package. Okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't get stopped and stun locked by chat because I know I'm right and I know that you guys are wrong.
Really in full force. And they did so as this display of
Drone Tech and Gibbs are going to be tough competitors. Gibbs is like very high energy. Drone Tech is a tough competitor only like in the settings that I've talked to him in. Okay. And that was when he was in control of his Discord and it was like 9v1 or 2, all conservatives. And like, he would just like rant and rant and rant and get angrier and angrier and angrier and shit. Okay. So even though I was being very nice, I'm always very nice. But yeah, like I don't even hate the guy. I just don't like understand why he deleted his entire Discord server, which was like it was a pop in Discord. Like people were just like hanging out in voice channels and stuff. And that's a great way to build a community and have people come in and, you know, continue like engaging with your content. And he just deleted it all out of like pure fucking rage.
Of consistent GOP unification, that there was no fractured Republican Party. The Never Trump vote now ceases to exist. And while they were very much covering up for that 20-30% that Nikki Haley, support Nikki Haley was getting across these battleground states and across the Republican primaries, at large, the front was that the Republicans were unified and the Democrats were fractured. Fractured because they had a nominee, Joe Biden, who many Democrats did not want to run for re-election, and now it was a question of will he drop out of the race or will we be forced to run with him in the general election? And so because of that fractured party, Biden's numbers really dipped. You saw that he was doing pretty badly when it came down to overall approval rating, overall sentiment, excitement, enthusiasm numbers, and of course, electability numbers that now Kamala Harris does miles ahead of where Joe Biden was, is miles ahead of where he was when he dropped out of the race nearly a month ago. I mean, I kid you not, it was less than...
Bash you on their live stream. If you're talking about Rob, I think Rob, I don't know, like, he didn't respond to me when I was in his chat, even though he was responding to Twitch chat. He didn't respond to me like for the 10, 20 minutes that I was there for. So I get the feeling he's upset at me. I don't know if he will acknowledge my existence. And Drone Tech doesn't, he'll fight with you on Twitter, but like, it's always whataboutisms and not like directly addressing the fact that like he said something really fucking stupid
a month ago that Joe Biden dropped out of the race, and so much has turned around. And so an understanding...
Okay. We're never going to get through this. I'm going to respond to Shadowrun, and then I'm going to keep watching this, okay? I'm just confused because, one, she was always running... I can't fucking read today. Jesus Christ. Already was running on a policy platform. 2, Biden being pushed to drop out has been an issue for at least a couple of months, so she should have had a policy set in play in case that happens. 3, okay, I'll buy into the fact that she needs to be differentiated from Biden, but isn't the presidential policy platform supposedly aligned with the DNC policy platform? Why isn't that ready to go? Okay, so I have an answer for all 3 of these. She was, 1, already running on a policy platform. Right, I agree with you on that. And it's probably going to be largely the same, but they're going to make it, make it more hers and set priorities on that policy platform according to what she wants, not what Biden wanted. Two, Biden being pushed to drop out has been an issue for at least a couple of months. People have been pushing for that. You have to realize this has literally never happened in American history. They probably until the last week of the pressure campaign and until the actual day that it happened, they probably didn't think that it was actually going to happen. I don't think that literally anybody legitimately thought that they were going to drop out. I mean, look at the Trump campaign. If they thought that Biden was legitimately going to drop out, they probably would have had, a backup plan for the most likely person to replace him, which would have been Kamala Harris, or any of the other people. They would have had some kind of background plan, but there was no background plan on the Trump side. Why? Because it is such an unbelievable and unprecedented and risky, the riskiest fucking move possibly in American presidential electoral history. So no, she wouldn't had policy set up in case that happens, because they probably just wouldn't have even imagined that it would have happened. And then on the last one, about the fact she needs to be differentiated from Biden, but isn't the presidential policy platform supposedly aligned with the DNC policy platform? Yes, the DNC policy platform is dictated by the president, the leader of the party, whoever is the leader of the party. That's my understanding, at least. Now, they're going to align with things that Democratic voters want largely, and those things are probably going to not change too much election season to election season. But the person that guides the policy is going to be the leader of the party. With input granted from the party itself, with input granted from, all of the people around the party, et cetera, et cetera. Do you realize that Democrat might lay out a broad range of issues and policies that people might subscribe to, but what those policies look like and what priority those policies are put into is going to differ between person to person? I'm sorry. It's not I don't know if you guys understand how this works. Okay, I'm watching this video. Okay, I need to finish a video.
Something went wrong on the Donald Trump campaign, because it is an election where Donald Trump has maintained a lead for every single day of the campaign. CNN reported on this a month ago when all the conversations were happening around whether or not Joe Biden should drop out of the race. In 2020, from announcement point of Joe Biden's candidacy through the election, Donald Trump led on exactly 0 days in the national popular vote polls. In 2024, against Joe Biden, from announcement to the election, or up until Joe Biden dropped out, over 50% of the days, Donald Trump led. And in the year 2024, practically speaking, primary season through the general, exactly 0 days did Joe Biden lead Donald Trump on the national level. So the situation was certainly dire for Democrats. You saw that even in my predictions. We saw Joe Biden, in any circumstance, even if he was doing well, was doing far worse than where he was in 2020. And my last prediction, before he dropped out of the race, had him performing worse than Donald Trump in 2020, worse than Hillary Clinton in 2016. In fact, and I say this a lot, would have been the worst Democratic performance, I think, worst Democratic performance for any Democrat in the 21st century. And so Joe Biden dropping out of the race very clearly benefited the Democratic Party. You can see that in battleground states. You can see that nationally. You can see that on a monetary sense. Every single metric we look at, Joe Biden dropping out of the race was correct. Donald Trump's response to it was not. And so that's why I think we're getting into this conversation where it is really becoming a more dire circumstance for the Republican Party, as the numbers only get better for Kamala Harris. When she was announced into this race, her lead was under a point. Today, she's up 3 nationally. And again, in these swing states, where Trump's lead has been completely demolished, either being up 6, 7 points, now down to 1, being up in a state by 3, being down 1, being up 2, being down 2. It is like the entire country has been flipped upside down. And arguably, when I say the entire country, I really mean the 10% of the Electoral College and 10% of voters that actually do sway presidential elections. But it is these groups of people that we really come to see decide this election. And they now perceive this election very, very differently. And it's not as if Donald Trump hasn't made moves like this in the past. What we saw was back in 2019, when there were some polling leaks. Donald Trump decided to fire some of his campaign staffers. But his big move that he made came in July of 2020, when he replaced his campaign manager, as the numbers looked really bad. When you take a look at the 2020 numbers, around the time that Donald Trump made this decision, it was looking pretty dire for the Republican Party. They were down 10 points nationally, and arguably, maybe the argument can be made, maybe, that Donald Trump replacing his campaign manager went from him being down 10 points nationally to 8 points nationally.
Damn. This shit was so much better. I haven't looked at the 2020 polls since 2020. Holy shit. It was so much better for the Democrats back then. Holy hell.
Nationally to 5 points on election day, sure. But it was still a loss on the presidential level. And Donald Trump shaking up's campaign manager does show that he absolutely has it in him to change things right before an election. Granted, July is about a month earlier than where we are today. But it was still a shakeup. It was a shakeup that really ricocheted across the United States and across specifically the Republican Party. Because while Donald Trump did keep on his campaign managers,
the very end that was beginning of 2020 through. Yeah.
shakeup that really ricocheted across the United States and across specifically the Republican Party. Because while Donald Trump did keep on...
Another signal to ignore these polls, you realize that those polls were accurate, right? Like that Joe Biden won, and
on his campaign manager as a quote-unquote senior advisor. This is the nice way of doing it in politics, where you push them to the side and you bring in somebody new. But it was clear at this moment in 2020 that something needed to change. The reality, I think, right now that the Trump team is starting to realize is that they should have had this coming to this moment of realization far, far earlier in the campaign season. But it was Joe Biden that made it very difficult to foresee any of this happening. The entire Republican convention happened just the weekend of Joe Biden dropping out of the race. I mean, I kid you not. The RNC was happening at this time. So the Republican Party spent the entirety of the RNC. They announced the VP nominee, J.D. Vance. They were coming off of an assassination attempt against former President Trump. And the RNC had taken on this new idea of unification. In practice, did they actually know? In theory, they tried. And Donald Trump, of course, rambled on in his RNC speech, but nobody watched.
You realize, oh my God. I actually don't know. Popular vote 2020. $51.3. Trump got 46.9. So about 4 points. And the thing at the end there said how many points? $8.4. Okay, there was a little bit of a thing, but within the margin of error, plus 3 to 4 points, minus 3 to 4 points, looks like it was in the margin of error. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. Unless it's like literally, unless the polls literally 100% accurately predict the future, they're completely false. Let's just like forget the fact that there's, a margin of error in every single poll and every single, average poll. This is like the collection of all pollsters. Here he goes talking about things I don't know about, so therefore I totally discount them. Thank you, J-Mac.
Was said and done for. Donald Trump was going to get a second term, and now it was about the margin. And that is the way that the Trump campaign has really been operating, not since the assassination attempt, not since J.D. Vance, not since the RNC, since last year. We saw Chris LaSavita very publicly talking to the campaign media, and the Republican narrative had been, Joe Biden is going to lose this election, now let's figure out how do we win by even more. There was no conversation around could there be a replacement, there was no conversation around could Joe Biden actually win this thing, and so the Trump team was really taken aback when Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Nobody on the Republican side genuinely thought that he would do it, and they had hoped that he would stay in the race, because they knew he was the candidate that they wanted to run against. Do they also think that Kamala Harris, in theory, could be weaker? Possibly? Sure. Right, her approval ratings at the time were worse than Joe Biden's. But she has done something that no Republicans could have really accounted for, and that has completely rebounded her approval. On the day that Joe Biden dropped out of the race, Kamala Harris's approval rating was down 16 points nationally, at 36.8%. Nearly just a third of Americans approved of Kamala Harris's job or had a favorable view of her. Her approval rating as vice president was far worse. Hers were even lower than Joe Biden's, and it was also a notable point that Kamala Harris hit her lowest point in favorability just a week before Joe Biden dropped out of the race. The lowest point, not just of the campaign season, but of her entire vice presidency, the lowest point ever for Kamala Harris. And yet, in just around a month, being down 16 points, she has now turned it down to being down just 3 nationally. Her approval ratings are at 45%, her disapproval at 48%. That is a 3-point difference nationally from what was 16 points in just under a month. I can only imagine between now and November how much she can go ahead and change this around. And that's why the Republican Party really did not expect this and has no rebut to this, because their entire campaign has been built on this idea that it is Donald Trump against Joe Biden. It is Sleepy Joe, Dementia Joe, whatever term they want to.
The conservatives in chat are so right. I forgot. I totally forgot. Polls in politics are what faith healing people like eruditus to psychiatry. I mean, it's just like so true. We should just never look at the polls. Everyone's super excited about Donald Trump. Nobody fucking hates him unless they're a fucking communist, which there aren't that many of them, unless we're talking about the deep state, which is completely, totally infected with Marxist, neoliberal, neoconservative fascists, okay, who are trying to mislead people and convince them that they hate Donald Trump, despite, like people hating Donald Trump for a myriad of fucking reasons. Yeah, we should just like literally ignore like all of that. You know what? I saw a lot of conservatives sucking polls off while he was up. The polls are actually fake because he's actually way more ahead than he actually was.
To use, they were characterizing the incumbent president as someone who was senile, couldn't serve out this term, couldn't be the next president of the United States. And many Americans agreed with them. But they don't agree when it's Kamala Harris who's the Democratic nominee. And what we've also found, too, is that Donald Trump is already...
The criticism goes both ways? No. The criticism would be the exact same, that they're undervaluing Trump. Despite the fact that polls have been undervaluing Democrats since, like, 2016. Because there was such a massive error in the polls that they started overcorrecting. Oh, my criticism goes both ways. Oh, so actually Kamala Harris is actually up way higher. Sorry.
Beginning this indication that he is exploring the possibility of changing up his campaign staff, now bringing back on Corey Lewandowski from his 2016 presidential campaign. He's shaking up his campaign. Whether it happens at the top or happens around mid-level staffers, Donald Trump realizes Kamala Harris is now on track to win this election for the first time for Democrats of this cycle. They were all trying to play catch up against Donald Trump. Now he's on the back end. They're starting to feel how it felt back in 2020, and that's not a good feeling for the Trump team because in his heart, Donald Trump knows he lost the election. In their hearts, too, they agree. And so working under this assumption that they're somehow going to landslide win this election no longer works because the Democratic opposition no longer exists to allow something like that to happen. Joe Biden may have been in a position where, sure, there could have been a shock, and he could have won the election. I give it less than a 20, maybe 25% chance maximum at the time after the presidential debate. And that's not a good place to be, very obviously. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were in a circumstance where Joe Biden narrowly won the race, 270 to 268 or 276, right? Very narrow margin, but still a victory nonetheless. That is not where we are today. Kamala Harris has that 270. She's not guaranteed the election, and I don't think any Democrats in any circumstance should be complacent. But she has the ability to get well past 270, and in some cases, so does Donald Trump. But it is a race that is exceptionally narrow, and this one tunnel vision lens that the Trump team has had and maintained over the past year is the reason why, if they lose the election, they lose the election. It's the same type of thinking that they were saying, we're going to win this election, why not set up someone like J.D. Vance to leave your legacy? Even stronger for the Trump team. Why not allow him to run in 2028? Sure, you could choose someone like Doug Burgum, but he's 71 years old. He's not going to run after 4 years because then the age argument circulates back. And sure, Donald Trump is older than Doug Burgum, and we can talk about that in so many different ways. But Doug Burgum is no Donald Trump. And J.D. Vance really is also no Donald Trump. And J.D. Vance being the pick for vice president, they might have known was not going to be this massive value add, but they thought it didn't matter. And it again is that type of political thinking where there were no thoughts beyond Trump, good, Biden, bad, that lead to decisions like this, where there are no thoughts beyond just simple understandings of where we are in the electorate and not accounting for any other type of circumstance, which is why I think we're now in this position. We're short. Trump is in a tight spot. We're 80 days out from the race, less than 80 days out. Trump can't really fire his campaign manager. Can he shake up the people below him? Absolutely. And he's already started to do that. But the people at the top really can't change unless he wants to completely restart this operation. Chris LaSavita, as much as he has led Donald Trump astray equally, is the reason Donald Trump has gotten this far in this race. Because based on the way he's been acting on Truth Social, this is not the Trump of 2016 or 2020. This is a very different Donald Trump. And they found a way to harness him. And against Joe Biden, they did it correctly. But they couldn't expand beyond that. And they still can't. We are a month after Joe Biden has dropped out of the race, and Donald Trump's campaign still has no way to characterize her, no real substantive attacks on her. They don't know how to handle her candidacy or Governor Tim Walz, and it's showing. And now the considerations are happening at the very top, with Donald Trump exploring the possibility to get rid of his campaign managers to save himself and his campaign, which might be doomed 80 days out. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to comment down suggestions below. Subscribe on the left if you haven't already, and check out the Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Interesting stuff. My criticism, nothing to do with it. Yeah, we should never look at any kind of data. We should just go off of vibes. They don't tell us anything useful, even though like polls are generally like fairly accurate and aggregates are like significantly more accurate in telling us like where the country is on something. Let's look at what was the guy's name? Narrative Free TV. What is it? You were talking about him earlier. Agenda free. I know he has a YouTube agenda free TV. What I want to know is how big are the... Here, we'll mute this for a second. We'll come back to see. How did polls go from Kamala being the worst option to replace Biden to being dead even, making up Biden's ground instantly? Well, when they polled people before, they didn't like her. When they polled people afterwards, they did like her. They probably started liking her a lot more because they were just so relieved that Biden dropped out of the race. And that momentum is built up on itself. It's not hard to understand. It is just the honeymoon period, but we don't know if the honeymoon period is like going to... We don't know if the honeymoon period is going to end like now or if it's going to end in a month. Like, we don't know. But the mainstream media didn't know that this was going to like pick up so fast. A lot of it has been online driven. And a lot of it has been meme driven. So this isn't hard to understand. I wasn't excited for Kamala Harris to take over for Joe Biden either. But if she is, then I'm going to be, supporting her. And I've gotten excited about Kamala Harris. Why? Because everyone else is excited for Kamala Harris. It feels like there's actually a chance to win this. So that probably builds up on itself. More people being excited about it makes more people excited about it. How is this at all fucking hard to understand? How the fuck is this like at all difficult to like suss out? I wonder if Republicans made a mistake by being too harsh on Biden. I don't know. They were doing the correct thing in terms of like controlling the narrative, but they've lost control of the narrative. Probably for the first time since I've been alive, the Republicans weren't controlling the narrative. Or at least since I've been paying attention to politics. But I feel like conservatives are always the ones controlling the narrative, always. And they don't know what to do now that they don't have control on it. She is instantly Gucci the second she enters the race. I can't buy the hype. Again, like the reason I think that she got instantly Gucci the second she entered the race is because everyone was just like, there were so many people. I can't say everyone because I wasn't on the train of kick Biden out. But I think everyone just got like so relieved instantly. And I think that, the memes that came out in like the first couple of days were like kind of catastrophic for the Trump campaign and really helpful for Kamala's campaign. Like you can't trick people into liking someone that they don't like. Is a thing. And you also can't trick people into supporting someone that they don't support. Now, maybe they think they support her, and once they hear her policies, they won't. Maybe that's possible. But I greatly doubt the fact that this is like some sort of like concerted effort to like try and... Because like if there wasn't this much like excitement for Kamala Harris, you wouldn't see the crowds at, these campaign stops start blowing up in a way that they never did for Biden. Man, you can't if the opposite person is Trump. Then that just speaks to how unlikable Donald Trump is. Like, none of these are like reasons why like any of us should think that this is not real momentum, or like this is not real support or anything like that. It just comes off as cope to like when Democrats were saying that like the polls are just wrong. That was cope. The best that like the best that I saw, right, was people saying looks really bad for Biden, but in the swing states it's kind of like a dead heat in some of these, and it could come out for Biden, right? It could end up working for him. But for those Democrats that were saying don't trust the polls, Biden's got this. It was just cope. And it's just cope to say that like the poll is just like completely wrong because like nobody should like this person. If nobody should like if someone shouldn't like this person, they won't. I just don't see last place to Giga Stacey overnight. Again, I think at first it had very little to do with her and much more to do with her, you know, just taking over for Biden. And then I think that both the Democrats and people online and herself were able to define her in such a way that she wasn't, you know, last place person. You know, I want to see if there's any. Oh, there's no news on the DNC. I just want to see if there's like yeah. Oh, well, it's just a live feed of the protest. I want to see if there's like anything that's like a little zoomed out so we can see how many people are out there protesting. Wall Street video top right. What do you mean top right? Oh, do you mean... Okay, got you. I just want to see if there's anything that shows like the scope of what's going on outside.
Burns joins me now with that great interview. I can only
to the rank and file Democrats. If you're a delegate, you care, you're a Biden delegate, you came here because you love Joe Biden, maybe going back to the 1970s. But what I'm watching tonight, Sharika, is what does President Biden say about Vice President Harris? The country, I was just talking to Bill Daley, the former Obama chief of staff, about this.
In the streets. Over half a century later, Democrats gathering here in the Windy City are dealing with protests again, this time over the war in Gaza. Lilia, Luciano joins us now.
Admiral
Lilia,
Gibbs.
you've been out there all day. Tell us what the status is of the protests. Were they as large as...
Oh, it said, why are so many young men switching from Democrats to conservative in 2024? Well, it's because Democrats don't have a good message for, like, young men, by and large. And also, young men are fucking retarded, and they like to, like, go off of memes. And they like to listen to people like Joe Rogan. I'm doing all right. Just kind of meme streaming today.
They were expected.
Also, sorry I wasn't able to listen. I wasn't able to show up to your thing. Sorry about that, Gibbs. But I had an unexpected thing pop up right before y'all were doing the show. So
to be, and what should we expect throughout the rest of the week?
Well, Nancy, very different from the 1968 protests so far. Today's protests have been very peaceful. There was a massive gathering, thousands of people. Bear with me, it's hard for me to count numbers of people, but at some point they were talking about 25,000 people expected. That could be throughout the week. Certainly there weren't 25,000 people here at Union Park, but there were thousands upon thousands of people marching through the streets. They still are. There's still about another hour left of this protest. Everything we saw was a very organized protest. Police here in Chicago trained with federal agencies on de-escalation, on making sure that there weren't violent clashes. We've heard from the mayor, we've heard from other city leaders, we've heard from the Secret Service leader here in Chicago, all saying...
How's it going, Trader Todd?
Look, police here in Chicago are making sure that they respect people's First Amendment rights, but they will not tolerate vandalism or violence. We have not seen any of that so far, but there are other protests planned out throughout the week, including one tomorrow at the Israeli consulate, which authorities are keeping a close eye on. There are protests and protesters here calling for abortion rights, for the rights of immigrants, for the rights of the LGBTQ community, and of course, the most massive showing has been to end the war in Gaza, and they're also calling for the U.S. to impose an arms embargo immediately on Israel.
Lilia, was there any opportunity for these protesters to interact with the thousands of delegates who are here or any of the politicians who are speaking here?
You know, that's something that I was asking some of the organizers. I asked, hey, has the Democratic, has the DNC leadership or the campaigns or the nominee or anybody been in contact with you guys? And they told me no. They have not talked directly to leadership of the DNC. And they did say that some of the delegates, thousands of delegates, many of them are in support of what they're manifesting against, are in support of their protests, but that there hasn't been that opportunity yet. And there is a perimeter wall that was created around the arena to make sure that the protests did not go into the area where the delegates are. I mean, that said, there could have been delegates who came out.
I wonder if there's, I don't even know what I would put into Google for this, but I wonder if there's like an overview or like an overhead shot showing like what they have like set up. Because it said on one of the things that we were looking at, take down one of two fences near DNC venue. I want to know how many. Fences they have up and how long they are, like where they're set up and all that shit. That'd be interesting to look at.
Here, but not officially. I mean, I didn't hear from people saying, look, they came and talked to us, but that's something that could change throughout the week. And what they're saying is, if we show up in large numbers, we expect that there will be more pressure on the administration and more. And what I asked some of the protesters, what needs to happen, they said, you know, right now it's a ceasefire and it's stopping military aid to Israel, and that way Democrats could get our votes come November.
But bottom line, on day one of the convention, it was a peaceful protest, which is good news for the law enforcement authorities who have been preparing for this for months. Lilia, Luciano, thank you so much. Just a few days ago, Kamala Harris released her first major policy initiative, her plans for the economy. Too. A reporter asked the vice president how she would pay for these policies if elected. Take a listen.
I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits, and it pays for itself in that way.
So no specific answer there, but Adriana Diaz is here. She has been covering the DNC in Chicago, and she's been covering...
I will say this once again, right? Like, I agree that, like, people should have access and be able to see all of the policies that someone like, you know, someone who's running for president is going to put as their, you know, as their platform. If they don't have it by the end of this week, or if they're not unveiling it, like, one bit at a time throughout the week, that's a major issue. Like, you can't run for president and not tell everyone what your plans are, right? So I guess they've unveiled economic plan ahead of DNC. I don't know how much time we'll have tonight to like go deep into any kind of economic plan that she has, but we'll definitely do that at some point this week if we don't get to it tonight.
This issue. Adriana, so good to see you back in your stomping grounds here in Chicago. So you've been talking to voters here, and top of mind for many of them is the economy. What are they saying to you about their situation and how they feel about what they heard from Kamala Harris?
Well, Nancy, we spent the afternoon outside of a discount supermarket and across the street from a Dollar Tree, and every single person we spoke to told us that they are hurting. And we've all heard this before. You know, we've all gone out and talked to voters, but there was a level of emotion, I think, underlying everyone's answer today. People feel they don't know where to go, they don't know what to do. You know, one woman we spoke to said that typically she used to go to one supermarket to do all of her shopping, and now things are so bad that instead of going to one place, she has to go to 3 or 4 to pick and choose and hunt for the best prices she can get. She said she still supports Harris, thinks Harris will be good for the economy, and here's what she said. Why do you think Kamala Harris will be better for the business? Well,
1 second. God, why don't they have like a mic that can like more directed cone of audio that they pick up instead of like all of the background noise? I hate listening to some new stuff because of that.
She's a Democrat.
Yes, she's a Democrat. That's why I resound with this Democrat. I don't know. Like I know I'm gonna vote for her for sure. But
are you voting for her or are you voting against Trump?
That's a very good question.
Chill, Nair.
That would be probably against Trump.
You want someone like Trump?
Like Trump. Especially now, you know, we're under this control.
Things are out of control?
Yeah.
Did they not like have enough money in the budget to give her a fucking microphone so that she could like point it at their mouth so that we can actually hear the fucking words that they're saying?
No respect.
So that gentleman is a Trump supporter, and he really talked about chaos. He thinks things are in chaos, not just the economy, but society. And he says that President Biden doesn't have a good handle of things, like, in his view, former President Trump did when Trump was in office. So he thinks Trump will be better for the economy and better for society overall.
You know, our new poll that we released this weekend shows Trump still has an edge when it comes to the economy, though interestingly, Adriana, Harris does a bit better in that poll than Biden did. How big of a focus do you think the economy will be here at this convention, knowing...
Okay. I think that I'm not going to watch like the entire live feed of ABC here because there's other things that we're going to look at. I am curious. Let me see what it is that you linked here.
Front of the United Center.
Who have just broken down. And this is another thing that I feel like needs to like fucking stop happening is people just like, oh, there's you guys have barriers that we're not allowed behind. Oh, well, what we're going to do, we're going to just bust them down. Why is this like the standard in protests? Why is this the standard in protests? I don't get it.
All right, y'all, this is Savannah Hernandez in front of the United Center for the DNC. And as you guys can see behind me, we've got quite a few protesters, and the police have now arrived. Now, they broke through this first barricade, and they were trying to break through the second one that's right behind me. So now police have arrived. There's quite a few present. Again, this is day one of the DNC. This is what it looks like on the ground. They've been marching all day since noon. They started in Union Park, and they now have made their way to the front of the United Center. You have a lot of attendees here for the DNC, just a block and a half away. You can actually hear the chanting of these protesters at the main entrance of the DNC. All right, y'all, this is...
Oh, no, an insurrection? I don't know if I would call this an insurrection. Okay. Why do I have 8 notifications? 1 second. Let me just make sure I didn't say something that got me in trouble because I don't remember when I tweet. Oh, no. Oh, thank you, Doghouse. Thanks, Danavo. It's just stuff from that. Alrighty. Let's see what else we got going on here. Now, we were going to watch this last stream, but I couldn't do it. It was too much. It was too stupid. But I guess if we're going to, we might as well. Oops. We might as well. Let's see what Jimmy Dore has to say about, the Algerian boxer who was unjustly and falsely accused of being a man, suing people for pushing that. Oof, no, sorry, we're doing it.
Hey, come see us on tour. We'll be in Chicago, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Duluth, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, Jacksonville, Florida, Tempe, Arizona, and Burbank, California. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for those tickets.
No.
So it turns out this was the female gold medalist boxer. That's a female.
Yeah.
That's a female who also has.
That's a female. I feel like when people do that, like, that's a female, like, the thing that I just, like, want to say is, my fucking God, have you guys never seen a masculine-looking woman before or an unattractive woman before? Do these people think that, like, every woman is just, like, a 10 out of 10, smoking hot mama that, like, is, like, the most feminine person in the entire world? It's like they just, like, forget for like a second that other people exist in the world besides the ones that they want to fucking jerk off to.
Male chromosomes and super high testosterone levels. Not high for a woman, but high for
do you have any evidence of that whatsoever, Jimmy?
a man.
You wouldn't know to look at her.
That's a lady. So
they meant Elon. Okay.
J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk have both been named in a criminal. This is from Variety. That's the picture that Variety chose to run. I didn't choose that picture. Variety chose that. Hollywood magazine Variety. I didn't choose that picture. Why do you think Variety chose that picture? J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk have both been named in a criminal complaint filed to French authorities over alleged acts of aggravated cyber harassment against Algerian boxer and newly crowned Olympic champion. How do you say her name? Iman Khalif?
Iman Khalif?
Yeah.
Imani Khalif.
There's nothing for this, right?
I'm going to say Imani Khalif.
Here we go. Watch this. So you can turn it down. As to the question of whether I qualify or not, whether I am not a woman or not, I have made many statements to the media saying that I fully qualify to take part in this competition. Well, what do you mean? You mean that you have XX chromosomes that make you a woman? No. You mean that you have
do you have evidence that she doesn't have XX chromosomes?
Testosterone? No. What do you mean you fully qualify? It says so on my passport. That's how that's their standard. Here we go. And by the way, won the competition her and one other female boxer.
It's kind of weird to dance around the question. Her? So like on one hand, in terms of just like winning the argument with people, yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with you. Like, yeah, it might be a bad look to dance around the question of whether or not, but like, in terms of like, do you think that like just because someone accuses you of something that they have a right to see your fucking medical records? Like that seems like a crazy fucking standard. Like, well, you see, I qualified to compete here. Her gender was never, her fucking sex, her gender was never, ever. Oh, you mean just say I am a woman? I'm pretty sure. Oh, look, she says I am a woman like any other woman. Like literally right there, Nair. Press play.
Here we go. And by the way,
I'm a woman like any other woman.
Her and one other female boxer who I won't get into that. I am a woman like any other woman.
Except way better at boxing.
Yeah. So we had on. Now I'm not saying that she's trans. I'm not saying that.
What are you saying?
If you have an XY chromosome and testes, and you went through.
There's nothing that says that she does. I wonder if Jimmy is going to be added to the lawsuit. We'll see.
Puberty. As a male, you're.
Hold on. Did stream die for a second? Because it seems like it died for a second on my end. We'll just keep going because it seems like it's good now.
You're not like every other woman. I was born a woman. I have lived as a woman. I compete as a woman. Okay, so I believe 2 out of the 3. I believe you lived as a woman and you compete as a woman. You're born with an XY chromosome. You were born with testes inside, but other people say also a vagina. So that's why it's confusing. And I'm not.
Noise.
And I'm not saying that doesn't make for a hard life for a person. All I'm saying is that that doesn't make you a woman like every other woman. You're a little different.
But again, and we all know that Jimmy Dore is like a massive Russia shill, right? So I guess we can say we know where he's getting these opinions from, right? Because the only organization in the entire world that has said that she is not a biological woman is one organization out of Russia. Literally the only organization in the entire world. Out of all the boxing events. Yeah. Kill the lantern.
Different.
Makes you a champion is what it makes you. Oh, finally a woman that could do something. That's all that was missing? 2 non-descended balls? About time. Thank God for this woman.
Here we go. There's no doubt about that, she says. There are enemies of success. That is what I call them. So anybody who questions whether an XY chromosome person with high levels of testosterone who looks like that and won every match 5-0. You know, only one other woman in Olympic boxing history has ever won every match.
Well, start practicing, gals, because there's a new lady in town. She's better than you.
Hasn't women's boxing only been around since like 2012? Women's boxing Olympics. Is there a Wikipedia? Let's see here. Yeah, since 2012. They had it in 1904 as a demonstration bout. And then in 2012, so in Olympic history, she's the only one. Yeah, because they've only been doing it for what, 12 years? No shit.
They are just enemies of success. So if you have any questions about it, you're just an enemy of success, and she's gonna want you criminal.
Or you're just like a fucking weird, insane person who like obsesses over the genitals of people that aren't you.
Prosecuted.
Yes, about time.
And just gives my gold medal an extra special taste because of their attacks.
Also,
so you should be happy then if it
it
tastes extra special. Why would you want them criminally prosecuted? If it makes it extra special, you should be thanking them. J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk have both been named in a criminal complaint filed to French authorities over alleged acts of aggravated cyber harassment against Algerian boxer and newly crowned Olympic champion Amin Khalif. Nabil Bouti, the Paris-based attorney of Khalif, what a name, confirmed to Variety that both figures were mentioned in the body of the complaint posted to the Anti-Online Hatred Center of the Paris prosecutor's office on Friday.
And did he go ahead and stick that up his vagina that has balls in it? Because why would they be able to?
They're not even funny, man. I don't know. Like I change. Oh shit! Wait, hold on. I just got a text that someone that we know died. Damn, that's crazy. I mean, like, I barely, like, not someone that I know, someone that my girlfriend knows slightly better than me, but damn. Oh, shit. We don't know how she died, but on the memorial post, comments are saying they better throw the book at the guy who did this. No, I'm fine. I mean, like, listen, it's not like someone that like we hung out with. It's just someone we had like positive interactions with in Houston. Just crazy how that happens. All right, I can't do the Jimmy Dore thing. They're not even funny. It just comes off as fucking like hateful, and that they're pushing a narrative that they have no evidence for. Okay. Ooh.
Nation. Throughout his term, he has brought us together and revived our country.
Oh, I think Biden's about to speak.
Soul.
Okay, we're watching this.
And last month, in a true act of patriotism, he passed the torch to the next generation and the next president of the United States, Kamala Harris.
Really quick, while we're watching this, I just want to let you guys know right now, if you guys are watching on YouTube and you guys haven't hit the like button already, please hit the thumbs up. It helps me way more than you could possibly imagine. It helps get the video out into more people's feeds. It helps more people get into chat with you guys. Thumbing up the video, very helpful. This is also my only, careful this can get you dinged, can it? No. Telling people to like your video? No, not at all. But anyways, yeah, if you guys like my content, this is my only form of income right now. I applied to 12 jobs today. I had a job interview last week, but that one, I got the job, but it's not worth it. Oh, watching CNN? Well, I guess we'll be... Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. But anyways, so if you guys want to help support me, help a brother out a little bit, there's donation links. If you guys want to donate, there's a link right there for you in Twitch and donate. A link should be popping up in YouTube here, right there for you guys. That would be really, really helpful. Right now, I back down to having $1.70-something in my bank account. So every little bit helps, literally like $1 or $2, $5, $10. Any amount really, really does help me quite a lot. Just to get food, just to feed my cats, be able to pay for gas to get to, job interviews or to work. All of these things are very much needed. So let's get back to it.
Moment that contributes to our movement. It's moments like 60 years ago when Fannie Lou Hamer told the shocking story of the racist brutality she suffered simply for registering to vote. Or 52 years ago when Shirley Chisholm ran a historic race for the presidential nomination. Or 40 years ago, when a round-headed boy from South Carolina, the same before you today, watched Reverend Jesse Jackson challenge America to hope and to dream. Folks, all of these moments led us to this transformational moment, when a black convention chair and a black DNC chair lead us in nominating a black and AAPI woman to be the next president of the United States. Folks, this is because the Democratic Party is and always will be for the people, for our future. We are honored to be a part of American history as we gavel in this convention and celebrate this historic nomination. I would like to thank the incredible workers at this year's convention, the convention staff led by the amazing Alex Hornbrook, and our convention chair, Mignon Moore, and my amazing staff at the DNC. You quite literally set the stage for us today, and we wouldn't be here without all of you. We hereby call the in-person portion of the 49th Quadrennial Democratic National Convention to order.
Had a little bit of trouble synchronizing that, didn't they? Really quick, also, if anybody has ever played Generation 2 Pokemon, hook me up, okay? Hook me up with how to start the Team Rocket thing, okay? Because in the thing that I'm doing here, okay, it's just Pastor's gonna pray, I think. let's.
Let us pray. We praise you, O God of all creation.
Here, I'll keep it real quiet. There's like for the Lake of Rage part, because the ROM hack that I'm playing is you can get a steel coat in Mahogany Town after the Team Rocket is kicked out, but I don't know how to make that start.
We are a nation composed of every people and culture, united not by ties of blood, but by the profound aspirations of life and freedom, justice and unbound hope. These aspirations are why our forebears saw America as a beacon of hope. And with your steady guidance, Lord, may we remain so today. In every generation, we are called to renew the...
Oh, you just have to catch the... Okay, let me get an Ultra Ball.
Issues that dwell in our hearts, but also when we confront our failures to root out ongoing injustices in our national life, especially those created by moral blindness and fear of the other. We pray for peace, especially for people suffering the senselessness of war. But as we pray, we must also act. For building up the common good takes work, it takes love. And so we pray, may our nation become more fully a builder of peace in our wounded world with the courage to imagine and pursue a loving future together. And may we as individual Americans become more fully the instrument of God's peace. Guide us, Lord, in taking up our responsibility to forge this new chapter of our nation's history. Let it be rooted in the recognition that for us, as for every generation, unity triumphing over division is what advances human dignity and liberty. Let it be propelled by the women and men elected to serve in public life, who know that service is the mark of true leadership. And let this new chapter of our nation's history be filled with overwhelming hope, a hope that refuses to narrow our national vision, but rather, as Pope Francis has said, to dream dreams and see visions of what by your grace our world can become. We ask all of this, trusting in your ever-provident care for us. Amen.
All right, who's up next?
Please welcome Prairie Band Potawatomi, Nation Tribal Council Vice Chair Zach Pamami, and Secretary Lori Melchior.
Here we are together on our ancestral homelands of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation and our sister Potawatomi nations. We also honor the spirit of the other tribal nations who traveled westward through this beautiful area. Welcome, 2024 Democratic National Convention, to our homelands. This land has and always will carry enormous importance to its original stewards, our ancestors, and our present-day communities. I am Vice Chairman of the Prairie Band Potawatomi Nation, joined by Secretary Lori Melchior, and our nation's tribal council, who are also with us in the audience. From time immemorial, our ancestors lived in the Great Lakes region. However, in 1849, an illegal auction by the U.S. government forcibly removed our tribe from our homeland. Since then, we have been working to reclaim it. Finally, this year, the Department of the Interior placed some of our ancestral lands west of Chicago into a trust.
Shrimpman.
Thanks to the resolve of our tribal community and the Biden-Harris administration, we reclaimed a piece of our home. 75 years.
Okay. I thought that they were going to have Biden come up because of the way that they were talking. We'll keep that going for just a second in the background and see what's going on. And we'll look at the protests that are happening right now as well. They tore down the fences, it looks like. They got a shit ton of police out there.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Illinois State Police Honor Guard.
Ooh, man, there's a ton of cops out there, dude. Was I right about what? About the red Gyarados? Yeah, I just didn't know that I could. That's how you started the thing.
Left. Colors. Colors turn.
Please welcome William and Charles Harrison from South Carolina to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, get on with it. Get on with it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good for them. Continue.
Please welcome the Soul Children of Chicago to sing our national anthem.
Oh my God. Let's see if they're any good, and if not, then we're muting it. Actually, we're probably going to mute it anyway, so I can keep talking. They're okay. What is going on? We're just waiting for whoever's supposed to take, whoever's supposed to take over for the speaking position here. I don't know who's speaking first. Actually, we could probably just Google this. DNC speaker schedule. Keep going down. It's 6:49. Okay. We're going to have quite a lot that they're going to talk about. It seems like they are playing into this DEI hire a little. What are you talking about? Who? When? Where? Who are you talking about is playing into it? What are you doing? What are you talking about? You conservatives gotta stop with the stop with that.
The greatest city in the world, Chicago.
Mayor of Chicago.
Where Ida B. Wells and Jane Addams organized to deliver real.
I think it's gonna be this deep state robot personally.
This country. Chicago, where Reverend Jesse Jackson united people from all different backgrounds to keep hope alive. And to a community organizer on the south side of Chicago, Barack Obama rose to the White House reminding us that yes, we can. And now Chicago, this city of hard work and caring people, is where Democrats will celebrate President Joe Biden and nominate Kamala Harris for President of the United States of America. As the son of a family that worked to make ends meet, I know that Kamala Harris, the daughter of a mom who worked hard every single day, she is going to look out for the interest of everyday people. I know that as a fellow former social studies teacher, that Governor Tim Walz will never shrink from standing up for our democracy and for those most in need. And as a black man, raising a little black girl on the west side of Chicago.
All right. Do you think about JD Vance's DEI hire? Trump only picked white men who would betray the Constitution. True.
The deepest part of American values. Think about it. What will it take to build the middle class and make it easier for families not only to get by, but to get ahead? It will take someone with toughness to stand up for us. And let me tell you, America, Kamala's got it. What will it take to defend our fundamental rights and our freedoms? It will take someone with leadership who would fight for us. And let me tell you, America, leadership, Kamala, she's got it. And what will it take to defeat MAGA Republicans and move our country forward and not backwards? It will take everyone, and let me tell you...
Honestly, though, he would have picked someone from a swing state who is religious. Well, Ohio is barely a swing state right now, right?
From Mississippi to Pennsylvania...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Like, well, they picked him because they didn't think that the VP candidate mattered because they thought that they had such a lock on the total, you know, the overall election. They thought they had such a lock on it that they could do fucking anything they wanted. And they chose someone that made them look like fucking lunatics. They chose someone that says really weird things, that comes off as a robot, that comes off as a like creepy person. So it was just a tactical error, it seems like. Oh my god. I got fucking obliterated with articles to read on stream.
The city of Chicago. God bless you all. Thank you.
Yeah, but they would have maxed their chances even if winning. Oh, let me be clear. Yeah, the reason that JD Vance was Oh, I thought they were playing fucking what do you call it? dire straits for a second. I was like, ooh, hello. Yeah, but they weren't like focused on maxing out their like potential win chances because they thought they already had it in the bag. And they weren't maxing out their win things because Trump wants to pick someone that's going to be on his side no matter what, basically. Not necessarily like 100%, right? Like, I don't know if he could, you know, fuck his wife and then, you know, keep going, but oh, wrong way. 1 second. Let me heal my dudes. And then we'll, during the, like, when someone's not speaking, we'll probably just, oh, damn, I didn't mean to use another repel. Fuck. Oh, Esaliken, are you still in chat? Because I want to show you the full team. All right. I'm pretty proud of my team so far. Crobat, Ampharos, Poliwhirl. Still got myself a Larvitar. He's going to take a while to evolve. Machoke and Bayleaf. That's what we got. I got the fucking Pokerust too. Hell yeah.
Welcome to Chicago. We've got our dancing shoes on. We've got our game faces on. America, we look like...
I will say, out of like all the cities that I've visited in the United States, Chicago's probably up there as like one of my favorites. Probably like it's a tie between New York and DC because I love both of them for very different reasons, right? I love both of those cities, but Chicago probably right under that. Hey, you're gay? Bro, why would you say that? Okana boy, that's so mean. Bro, are you okay? Oh, let's see what this guy has to say. This is...
I started my journey to this stage in 1988. I was 12 years old, and my family was watching the Democratic National Convention. Now, to be honest, I wanted to watch something else. But we all knew when my grandfather sat in his chair, the TV was his. But folks, when Reverend Jackson came on, I paid attention. A black man from South Carolina, raised by a single mother. That was me. And as long as I live, I will never forget what he said. He challenged young people to hope.
Well, 1 second, Talon, I just don't even understand what you mean they're playing into it. What do you mean that they're playing into it? Like, if you gave me, like, something to go off of, maybe I could say, like, maybe they're playing into a DEI hire thing. I mean, I'm not, like, immediately seeing it, but what are they playing into here? Like, how are they playing into it? Because I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Is it because there's a lot of black people on stage? Do you know what city they're in?
The Democratic Party, the world's oldest political party. Folks...
Yeah, do you know what fucking city they're in, dude?
And that's the beautiful thing about this country that I love so much. Hope and hard work can take you anywhere. You can go to college, you can start your own business, you can even win the Olympics. That's the America Democrats believe in, and that's the America Democrats are fighting for. So 4 years ago, my friends, we were a country divided by fear, and we were stuck under a man who preached bigotry and hatred. Hope was lost. But my friends, we found hope in President Biden and Vice President Harris, and the 80 million Americans who stood by their side. And now we are united.
Yeah, I just don't think that there's anything to say that there's, like, at all anything to do with DEI here. Like...
They fought for us. They heard us. And under their
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not seeing it. I'll call it out when it happens, and I have called it out when, like, people are not doing things like meritocratically or like without reason or anything like that. But I'm not seeing that yet here. It just happens to be a lot of black people on the stage, but they're also in fucking Chicago, so.
They will build on our accomplishments, and they will create a country that works for every American. They will invest in our dreams and our futures, and hope will light our path forward. They will lead us in the fight for America, and believe me, when
It can be funny. It's just really hard to tell when someone's making like a funny joke about DEI and when someone's being like racist, you know? Damn it, I keep on accidentally using repels. Fuck.
Who's gonna finally pave that dirt road, or make it easier to feed their family, or get medical bills under control? This election is about those who believe anybody can achieve their dreams if they work hard and trust in the endless possibilities of America. This election is about communities who need to see that hope and joy will always overcome fear and chaos. This election is about every little boy inspired by a party chair who looks like him, and every little girl who will finally see a president who looks like her. My friends, we are paving a path for them. We're working toward a brighter future for them, and we need each and every one of you to join us. In my beloved home state of South Carolina, our motto is, while I breathe, I hope. Folks, I believe in the power of hope, but it's going to take more than hope to win this election. So in the next 78 days, our motto can't be just, while I breathe, I hope. It must be, while I breathe, I vote. Because that is how we make hope.
One thing, and I wonder if it's, I got banned from Twitter, but I think it kept my pinned post. Yeah. This is one reason why when it comes to like Republican and Democrats, not just like the policies, but also like the parties themselves, I prefer Democrats. I said this a couple of days after my uncle died, who was like a big, you know, role model. He was a politician. He was a teacher. He was a amazing person. And after he died, I talked about, and I changed a lot of the ways that I engaged with politics after he died. And I said, I wholeheartedly believe that having a politics of positivity is the only way to create and sustain a movement. Use anger, use grief, use pain to motivate you towards a better tomorrow, but don't allow these things to cloud your ultimate goal, right? And I 100% believe that. You have to be like, actually, you have to start with that baseline, like politics of positivity. Because otherwise you're just doing like the politics of grievance, like grievance politics. Listen, okay. I liked the city while I was there. I didn't try the pizza. I don't remember why I didn't try the pizza, but for some reason I didn't try the deep dish pizza. Next time I go, I'll give you an update on what I think of it. All right.
Carry their legacy forward. Tonight we pay tribute to those who dared to dream of a country that truly stands for liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll hear from one of those people, a lifelong advocate for civil rights, Maxine Waters.
Hey, I said it at the beginning, I like Chicago. I just didn't like the pizza because I didn't try it. But I also just don't like pizza, so. The pizza is Chicago. Got it.
Now, you know, I've seen.
I thought Maxine Waters retired.
I was just 22 years old when Fannie Lou Hamer made her presence known at another Democratic convention. It was in 1964 in Atlantic City, and she arrived.
Is she still in office?
Of black delegates from Mississippi. And she
Jesus Christ, she's ancient. She's 86 years old.
asked that her delegates be seated in place of the state's
all-white delegation. She told the people in the room about the violence she suffered.
Even if you like pizza, all right, Chicago pizza is a casserole. It's not even a pizza. They put bread and they put the cheese and they just like goop a bunch of sauce on top of it and they slightly warm it up. It's not even like it's a pizza. It's a casserole. It's a casserole. Oh.
Atlantic City. But you can bet that when the official Mississippi delegation was seated at the convention 4 years later, Fannie Lou Hamer was sitting there with them.
New York pizza was okay, but again, it's just not something I would seek out because I'm not a fan of
60
pizza.
years later, at another Democratic convention, with Kamala Harris as our party's nominee. Oh, so I know there is no better leader to marshal us into the future. Kamala has been a courtroom prosecutor, a district attorney, an attorney general, a United States senator, vice president of the United States. And when the dust settles in November, and Americans of all stripes have elected her their president, I know she'll be thinking about Fannie Lou, who I happen to know is one of Kamala's heroes. In that moment, all of us, from New York to Pennsylvania, to Arizona, to California, we can ask ourselves,
Never been to Boston.
America.
Never been to Boston. I have a Walter's gay. Listen. Why is everyone calling me gay? Kevin beats city vaccination? Okay. Vacation. Okay, I was about to say, what the fuck is wrong with you bringing up vaccination all of a sudden? But no, like, just not as big of a fan of.
CEO of the NAACP, Derek Johnson, and President and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Melanie Campbell.
Okay, one sec. What song was that? Tell me something good. I don't know what the name of the song is. Fuck. Anyways, I'm just not as big of a fan of camping anymore. I feel like I'll do it if you know, I have a bunch of people that want to go camping and that's just like the activity that everyone else planned. I'm not going to like sit there and fight people to the death on it, but there's so much more to do in cities. And I think that I just like, given where I was born and where I grew up and spent most of my like early life, I feel like I got enough of the outdoors. I think I got enough of it, and it just like the allure, it's not novel to me. It was just like there for me, you know? I'll go camping with you. You don't want to go camping with me, buddy.
Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party, led by Fannie Lou Hamer, and Mississippi NAACP State President Aaron Henry, who stood tall and challenged a process that excluded them to ensure that we will all be recognized here tonight. In 1973, the historic elections of Atlanta's Mayor Maynard Jackson, Detroit's Mayor Comey Young, and LA's Mayor Tom Bradley paved the way for another historic election just 10 years later, right here in Chicago, with the election of Harold Washington as the first black mayor of the city of Chicago. And in 1988, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, in his second quest for the White House, inspired us all to keep hope alive.
Now, this is important because we must all understand Black history is American history. And in this historic moment, we will write the next chapter.
Link me something on Discord about it. I might do that, but this is, if you've ever heard of Pokemon Crystal Legacy, it's like it's an update of Crystal version with a lot of really cool things. It makes it to where it moves better, you know? Widget you add to your chat? Never been a big fan of those, but link me something about it. I might look into it.
This moment has been a long time coming. Vice President Kamala Harris's path to becoming the Democratic nominee for President of the United States has been paved by the leadership, sacrifice, faith, and patriotism of generations of Black women. Black women like Dr. Dorothy Irene Height, Diane Nash, Ella Baker, Amelia Boynton Robinson, Barbara Jordan, Shirley Chisholm, and Reverend Willie Barrow. Women whose optimism about what America could be and their fight to make that vision real redefined the leadership role that Black women could play in moving our nation forward. As president, Kamala Harris will lead with power, brilliance, and strength from the highest office in the land.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
We resist.
Well, it's Crystal, so it's same generation.
Do we believe in freedom? Support human rights.
Okay, so after those two people speak, let's see here. We're certainly not down that far. Where the fuck are we in the Crystal is the same gen? Yeah, like there's red, blue, and then yellow, and then there's gold, silver, and then crystal, and then there's ruby, sapphire, emerald, then diamond, pearl, and platinum. So there's always a third one, yeah? They said someone from the NAACP was there, just speaking. But I'm not seeing that at all here.
Elders, we all can be proud to say
Who is
that
this?
we are truly a leading democracy and we respect people's ability to exist.
Making this event all ghetto is bad optics? Where the fuck is it ghetto? Holy shit, why are people being weird and racist about this shit?
America's more like a quilt. Many patches, many pieces, many colors, many sizes.
Standing on the shoulders of giants, Kamala Harris is the candidate who encompasses the brilliance,
It doesn't. Where is it ghetto?
analysis, and the action to carry the torch.
Someone earlier said it's DEI,
of
and
the
now it's ghetto, and makes me feel like there's racism going on in my chat. The music?
What kind of country?
You said this
do we
event
want
all
to live
ghetto.
in?
Value system of the modern Democratic Party has been shaped by the civil rights movement of the 1960s.
There's a direct line from 64, the National Democratic Convention, where Fannie Lou Hamer asked to be seated, in 2024, where a black woman is the Democratic nominee. It's been a long struggle and a long journey, but Fannie's going to be vindicated and Shirley Chisholm's going to be vindicated in the 24 Democratic Convention.
I wonder if I could sit in a room with Shirley Chisholm, with Rosa Parks, with Coretta Scott King. What would they say
about what's happening today.
The civil rights movement has been a key part of organizing the agenda, not just of the Democratic Party, but of democracy.
This is the hope that runs through Kamala Harris's leadership, one where hope, change, and freedom are the drumline of our democracy.
I stand before you today as a candidate for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States of America.
I stand before you today to proudly announce I am now officially the Democratic nominee.
Woohoo! Come on, give us some speakers. Just give us. Come on. I don't need the videos. Tell us. Give us someone to. Who's speaking?
Please welcome founder and president of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Damn, he got old. Damn, he got old. There are so many like politicians that I just haven't seen like a public appearance of them in a long time, and they just get old. This is not a good itinerary. Oh, he just made an appearance. Okay, I got it. That's kind of sad. So this must be the joint statements by like 5 billion people right here? No, because only one person walked up. Uh-oh, he forgot his hammer, guys. Oh no, the entire event is ruined, guys. What are we going to do? He forgot his hammer.
Democrats, our first order of business is adopting an up-to-date convention agenda. When the Convention Rules Committee met, everyone was working on updating plans based on the significant changes that had just occurred.
Or playing into what Republicans are saying, but I don't even like...
An agenda, it was a work in progress that members knew would need to be revised accordingly. We now have an agenda for the next 4 days. The agenda is included in the Standing Committee report booklet emailed to each convention participant. In addition to fantastic speakers and performers, tonight's agenda provides for adopting the up-to-date convention agenda, hearing the Credentials Committee report, hearing the Rules Committee report, and considering a resolution as recommended by the committee. Hearing the Platform Committee report and considering our national platform as recommended by the Platform Committee. And holding a confirmatory and ceremonial vote for our vice presidential nominee.
Okay, here we are here.
Tuesday includes a ceremonial roll call for the presidential nominee. Wednesday, we'll hear ceremonial nominating speeches for our vice presidential nominee, and Governor Walz will make his acceptance speech. And on Thursday, my friends, we'll hear a ceremonial nominating speech for our presidential nominee, and Vice President Harris will make her acceptance speech. So now, delegates, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the up-to-date agenda. Is there a second? All in favor of approving the convention agenda, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it.
Cool.
Are we going to the next one?
Please welcome Credentials Committee co-chairs, Secretary Marcia Fudge and James Roosevelt Jr.
They keep on saying names and none of them seem to be on the fucking... I heard one nay. Oh no, I didn't hear it.
Greetings, my friends. It is an honor to have served as co-chair along my friend, Jim Roosevelt. Pursuant to the call, the Credentials Committee met and adopted a resolution to credential the delegates and alternates to the 2024 National Convention. I am pleased to report that there were no credentials issues to be decided by the committee. Their work allowed us to nominate 2 champions for democracy and freedom, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz.
Our delegate selection process is designed to ensure every voice is heard and every vision is heard. And our delegates
Dude, this guy's
accurately
glasses are
represent
like
their
above his ears.
Diversity is
like
our
well
party's
above his
strength.
ears.
And I'm so proud to see the wonderful representation of our party and democracy here today. I am pleased to share that the Credentials Committee report
Have had for a
was
month.
adopted and all
That she's a DEI hire? Well, they don't have to. One second, where do I have
memory of
the...
Marvin Turner, we are going to have a great convention and we are going to win.
See, the thing is, they don't really need to, like, have... They don't need to go against that because it's on the Republicans to, like, prove that she doesn't have the qualifications necessary, that she's just a DEI hire, et cetera, right? But also, they don't have to, like, comment on it because why would you dignify it with a response saying that she was only chosen because she was black, right? The reason Kamala Harris is... Kamala Harris, I need to say her name correctly. Kamala Harris is chosen because she's the fucking vice president of the United States. That's why she was chosen over everyone else to run for president when Biden stepped down. It's just the way, that's just the way that it is.
Committee is a ladder for promotion. The Rules Committee adopted the procedural rules of the convention on July 24th. They are based on long-standing processes governing our convention and ensured that we met all ballot access deadlines. The rules established the virtual nominating process for the party's nominees and set the stage for in-person votes at the convention to adopt our platform and resolutions recommended by the Rules Committee, as well as to cast celebratory votes on our nominees and hear their acceptance speeches. Under the Rules Committee authority, the Rules Committee is recommending for your approval one resolution. Contained in the committee's report, the resolution supports the current practice regarding automatic delegates, as well as other reforms to make our party stronger. The co-chairs are pleased to move the adoption of this resolution on behalf of the Rules Committee.
Thank you, Bishop Daughtry. The Rules Committee has moved the approval of the resolution. Is there a second? We have a second. I will now call for a voice vote on approving the resolution as recommended by the Rules Committee. All those in favor of the committee's recommendation to approve the unity resolution say aye. All opposed say nay. I'm pleased to report for the record that with a majority...
I'm sorry, did you see that girl's face? She accidentally said nay.
Opposed say nay. I'm pleased to report for the record that with a majority of delegates having voted in the affirmative, the resolution has been approved. My thanks to our Rules Committee co-chairs and members for your efforts to build a transparent and inclusive party. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Please welcome Platform Committee co-chairs Mayor Mitch Landrieu and Mayor Regina Romero.
Okay, what were these people's names? I just want to see where we're at.
Hello, delegates. It is my pleasure to join Co-Chair Romero to present the national platform as recommended for approval by the committee. Our platform is grounded in our democratic values of hope, of progress, and love of our country. It makes a strong statement about the historic
No, not
work that
Raimondo.
President Biden and Vice President Harris have accomplished hand in hand. And it presents a bold vision for our future. Kamala Harris will protect reproductive freedoms. Donald Trump will rip them away. Kamala Harris will lower costs for Americans, expand access to affordable health care, protect and strengthen Social Security and Medicare.
Well, listen, if the Republicans want to do that, if the Republicans want to go after Kamala Harris with a failed attack, still, with the DEI attack, it's just going to be more ammunition for them to call the Republican Party racist. That's all it's going to be. It's not whether they are or aren't playing into it. It's whether the Republicans will take the bait and try and attack Kamala Harris or the Democrats for stuff that makes people not want to vote for the Republicans. If they want to say, oh, look at all the black people, I guess it's just DEI hires, then that's going to be a massive attack on them. That's not fair. Yeah, it is fair. If the Republicans want to be seen as racist, they can continue saying weird racist things. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything different. Oh, I should do this.
And it's the product of a comprehensive process to engage with leaders from all corners of our winning coalition. Hundreds of submissions, hours upon hours of hearing and testimonies, countless conversations with community leaders and grassroots Democrats.
Do I think they're setting bait? No. I just think that Republicans
were essential to
will fall for bait that wasn't even intended to be bait.
For our party that echoes the voices of all.
But
Vice President Harris is now carrying the torch.
Like whether Republicans want to accept this or not, the Democrats have a wider range of people that they represent, and the Republicans just don't. You know, this actually might be the play. I don't think they don't need to make a play like that. It might be a nice byproduct, but the thing is, the Democrats just genuinely do have a wider base of support in terms of the demographics that they represent and the demographics of the voters that put them in office. The Republicans don't. They do have black people, they do have Asian people, they do have all the same demographics, but when it comes to the scale, Democrats represent minorities more than Republicans do. I mean, there's a reason why Hispanic voters vote for Democrats instead of Republicans, even though Hispanic voters are more likely to be socially conservative. Why do you think that is? It's because Republicans can't stop themselves from at least sounding racist. They can't stop themselves from sounding racist at the very least, if not being racist. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Talon. But Republicans have Catholics, but they don't have Catholics. I don't even think now I've heard like different things, but like party affiliation among Catholics. I'm curious. Because I've heard like mixed things on this. Catholics, 37% in 20. Oh, this is 2014. Oh, do we have anything more recent? This is. How Catholics vote? Oh, well, sorry. I'm curious. You bring up a demographic question, suddenly I get real curious. Because I always heard like Catholics for some reason vote Democrat.
The Democratic Party officially nominated Governor Walz as our vice presidential candidate. While Governor Walz is nominated.
The DNC just gave a standing ovation for Reverend Jesse Jackson. Back in 1999, Jackson praised President Trump as a friend who embraced the underserved communities. They all loved him before they hated him. No, stop. I'm good. We just watched this. So you guys be cheering? I'm preaching to the choir when I say this to you, but like it's whoever's supporting him now, and if you ever have crossed him, you're an enemy. If you ever like could cross him, you're an enemy. If you don't like wholeheartedly support him no matter what, then like you're just like the enemy, and it's insane.
Nominee for vice president.
Implying racist misogyny. No, I know. But I just got caught up in curiosity. USA, let's go. Fuck yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, USA. Pursuant to our convention rules,
Oh shit, I thought they
Governor
had health.
Walz has been invited to make an acceptance speech which he will deliver on Wednesday, August 21st. Thank you, my friends. Delegates, please welcome to the stage co-chair Peggy Flanagan to resume chairing our convention.
Oh, you know what we should check on? Let's check on the protests.
What's the some of the protests are organized, and there's going to be protests that are not part of this group that planned this today.
State of course. Our department is going to state of course. Our department members, our officers proved today that the training works. Our officers also proved today that they can respond in ways that people are not giving them credit for. Again, the way that our officers responded, the way that the leadership team was on scene, calling the shots, leading the officers. I just can't be more proud of the way that these officers responded.
And the group that was planning the march on DNC today, have they been, I guess, following all of the communication and all of the coordination with police so far?
Well, listen, the group themselves and the
Sounds
organizers, they left the park. They marched, and a large portion.
Seems like it cleared out, didn't it?
Hang on, I'm just setting up the next. That is the venue.
Oh, hello.
This is the park right here, and that is that church. There's the brick church. Okay? So the fence is here. The fence is on Washington Boulevard on the south side of the street, and that's the one they took down, and it's being repaired. And then police cleared out this park, Park 578. But that is the venue right there. But the fence protecting the venue, the two fences are on either side of Washington Boulevard, and we can see this building. That's the church. So again, zooming out, there is the United Center. That's the venue. That's the church, the brick church we see, and then the fence is right here.
It sounds like the protests calmed down like significantly, didn't it?
To be the best place for kids to grow up. He does it all with a big heart, a buffalo plaid jacket, and a bottomless bag of snacks. Nutter Butters, cheese curds, and Diet Dew. Every time we meet, he brings something for me because he's always got my back. And when he's vice president, he will always have yours. He and Kamala
When it comes to Midwesterners, I understand like the small town vibe. I don't understand the Midwest vibe. It's still super alien to me. All right. I'm still getting used to the East Coasters over here in DC, but being raised in the South my entire life, man, these groups of people are very different. Okay. They're very different.
The COVID pandemic upended our lives. My brother Ron was the second person to die of COVID in the state of Tennessee. We couldn't see him. We couldn't have a memorial. And millions of American families went through the same thing. Our communities were suffering. Our economy was struggling. And Donald Trump was playing games. Our country was brought to the brink by his failure to respond. But the Biden-Harris administration stepped in with quick and decisive action. They contained the virus, created millions of jobs, and invested in our nation's future. Under their leadership, America began to heal.
Are the words about a pandemic at this point?
No, we're not at all. We have it totally under control. We think we have it very well under control. We pretty much shut it down. A lot of people think that goes away in April with the heat word.
Oh no, the clip compilation, dude.
All we've done,
the clip compilation.
American people remains very low. View this the same as the flu. It's going to disappear one day. It's like a miracle.
Okay, I need to grind for.
We all together have done a very good job.
We think the death will be at a very low number.
I see the disinfectant. Is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? I'm taking it. Hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah. You can test too much. You do know that.
Who says that?
Oh, just read the manuals, read the books.
Manuals?
Read the books.
Manual?
I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. It is what it is.
Jesus Christ, dude. Why did he say this?
And it is long overdue.
The $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill to get stimulus aid directly to struggling Americans.
Our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all.
Tonight, the U.S. is nearing a major milestone in the fight against the coronavirus. The U.S. is about to deliver the 200th million COVID shots since President Biden took office, beating his target by about a week. Millions of American students returned to school earlier this month after more than a year of remote learning. Sports venues are filling up and concerts are getting scheduled.
I'm feeling great. Business is definitely ramped up.
I'm so thankful.
To be able to serve our customers again after all this, it's a blessing.
Please welcome Illinois Representative Lauren Underwood.
The music that they walk out to is so funny. All right. Lauren Underwood.
COVID was the worst
Here we are.
public health crisis in a century. Donald Trump failed us. But Joe Biden and Kamala Harris got it under control. Donald Trump said, "It is what it is." Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said, "Help is on the way." Democrats in Congress tried to lower the cost of health care. Donald Trump tried to take our health care away. We tried to expand Social Security and Medicare. Donald Trump tried to cut them year after year after year. He took the COVID crisis and turned it into a catastrophe. We can never let him be our president again. As a registered nurse, I care deeply about making health care more affordable. As someone with a pre-existing condition, I am determined to protect the people who are most at risk. And as the youngest Black woman ever elected to Congress, I am painfully aware that Black women, especially pregnant women
What
and new
type
moms,
is this guy?
were more likely to die from COVID. I wrote the Momnibus to protect those women and to address the maternal health crisis. And that bill was introduced and championed by Senator Kamala Harris. Because she protects the people who are most vulnerable. She's done it for her whole career. As vice president, she and President Biden passed my legislation to make health care more affordable. And now, 4 out of 5 Americans can get covered through the Affordable Care Act for $10 or less per month. And under the Biden-Harris administration, the number of uninsured Americans hit an all-time low. 4 years ago, it was not safe to hold a convention like this. But tonight, thousands have gathered in this arena in my home state of Illinois to make sure Kamala Harris is the next president of the United States.
I missed the TV.
Oh, well, it's on. So far these past 4 years, and we're not going back. Thank you.
Yeah, I need to figure out a
My
way
name's
to
Rich
set
Logis.
this
I
up.
live in Florida, and until 2 years ago, I was a full-fledged member of MAGA.
Oh, I'm interested in
I
this.
believe Trump. I was a MAGA pundit. I had my own podcast. I was in a state of panic, terrified that Democrats were destroying our country. When the pandemic hit, we needed leadership, but we were given almost nothing. It was a major betrayal to the country. So I finally stepped outside the MAGA echo chamber. I stopped listening to what Trump said and looked around with my own eyes. And I realized he had been lying about pretty much everything. Lying is Trump's toxic superpower. He's ripped apart families, communities, our whole country. So this is my message to all the Republicans and independents who are watching. People like me who voted for and believed in Trump. I made a grave mistake, but it's never too late to change your mind. You don't need to agree with everything you hear tonight to do what is right. We need to be able to trust our leaders. That's why I'm all in for Kamala Harris.
Difficulty spike is unbelievable.
Please welcome California Representative Robert Garcia.
Oh, we got an Astro hater in chat, I guess. Cringe.
Thank you. Thank you. We all remember. We all remember the world in 2020, where we were, and for some of us, who we lost. Now, I was in my second term as mayor of Long Beach, California. And my mom was a healthcare worker. Like many of you, I watched in terror and horror as the COVID pandemic consumed our lives. As mayor, I fought for more hospital beds, for more tests, and to make masks more accessible. What we needed at that moment was national leadership. But instead, we got Donald Trump.
Oh, brutal.
While schools closed and dead bodies filled morgues, Donald Trump downplayed the virus. He told us to inject bleach into our bodies. He peddled conspiracy theories across the country. We lost hundreds of thousands of Americans and our economy collapsed. Now that summer of 2020, my mom and my stepfather both died of the COVID pandemic. And I miss them every single day. So when Donald Trump and his MAGA extremists like Marjorie Taylor Greene downplay the horror of the pandemic, it should make us all furious. Now, I will never...
Well, it's not that they memory hole it. They just say that because it was the year of COVID, everything that happened in 2020 wasn't Trump's fault. That's just like what it was. It's not that they don't accept that those things happened or they pretend like they don't. They just said, yeah, those things happened, and it wasn't Trump's fault. It was everybody else's fault, because the only reason COVID was even as bad as it was is because we locked down. That's Hey, Dingo, how's it going? I heard that you were trying to jump into a voice call with me the other day, and I didn't see it until after you were gone. What's up? You've been gone. The fuck is up with that? Also, we're barely doing content right now, all right? I'm just listening to this, and I got some Pokemon to play, okay? You gotta understand.
Now, I am a proud immigrant.
Ooh.
Who
Well, when
came
I
to the
stream
United
tomorrow, let
States
me know. We'll
as a
talk
young
about it.
child.
I'm not gonna stream for too much longer.
We grew up poor. English was our second language. And we often, like many immigrant families, struggled to get by. But my mom, she moved here to the United States because she believed...
I just can't believe that there's not any news stories already about the protests. I haven't seen anything. Well, is Dylan Burns looking at something about
Swifties for Trump.
No, not at all. Try to decide if we want to, because I'm not going to be able to stay long enough. If this is how slow it's going, I'm not going to be able to stay long enough for the actual big names. And I'm hungry. We'll keep watching for a little bit.
First, real American patriotism is loving your country so much that you want to help the people in your country. That is American patriotism. And we all know that Kamala Harris understands and knows this as well. Kamala Harris is ready to lead this country. We can all remember 2020. We can all remember the horrors of Donald Trump. But let's remember, most importantly, tonight and every single day this week, that we are not going back. Thank you.
I need to get some wins under my belt with fucking sushi here.
Hey everyone.
Oh, another
I'm
video.
Ryan from Kamala HQ. And we have a little game we like to play here called Two Lies and a Lie. We list out 3 things Donald Trump has said, and then we try to figure out if any one of them is true, which they're not. Let's play.
Jesus.
First up, jobs. Trump claims his administration created more jobs than we ever had before. He says we had the greatest economy ever, and then we got hit with COVID, and he says he created a manufacturing jobs miracle. Let's dig in. More jobs
Let's dig
than ever
in,
had
folks.
before. Trump lost 3 million jobs. In fact, he's the first president to lose jobs since Herbert Hoover. What about this claim that it was the greatest economy ever and only COVID tanked it? Once again, no. Let's take a look at his track record on jobs before COVID as compared to the Biden-Harris administrations. What do you know? Hardly the most successful ever. And about his supposed manufacturing miracle, Trump talked a big game, but actually lost 178,000 manufacturing jobs. And just to be clear, it wasn't just COVID here either. Manufacturing jobs were already on their way down before the pandemic. So that's round one. And it looks like what we have here is 2 lies and another lie. You get the hang of it? I'll see y'all in a little bit.
That was brutal. They destroyed him.
Donald Trump downplayed COVID while Americans were living in fear. He lied about creating jobs while our communities were fighting to survive. But the Biden-Harris administration stepped up. They actually took decisive action to create jobs, support small businesses, and rebuild a stronger and more resilient economy. Kamala Harris is a leader we can trust, even in our most challenging moments, especially in those moments. Donald Trump dithers, Kamala Harris delivers. Donald Trump abandons vulnerable people, Kamala Harris protects them. Donald Trump bullies scientists, Kamala Harris believes them. Our next 2 speakers will tell us why that's so important. Please welcome Brian Wallach and Sandra Abravaya.
Oh, cool. Look, the podium just goes straight into the ground. Hell yeah, let's go. Oh, so did that create 5,000 new jobs, J-Mac? You realize that the net gain there would be 5,000.
In 2008, we met while working on the Obama-Biden campaign. We found our way there because we believe in the power of organizing. Then we found each other. The day we brought our second daughter home from the hospital, Brian was diagnosed with ALS.
I went home.
I was told I had 6 months to live. That was 7 years ago. We could not change Brian's diagnosis, but we knew how to organize. So we co-founded a nonprofit called I Am ALS, and thousands of terminally ill patients fought for new therapies, $1 billion to fund ALS research, and earlier access to treatments, all of which President Biden signed into law. We will also keep fighting alongside patients living with Parkinson's, young onset dementia, and Alzheimer's.
You know,
We've seen just
I don't know if
how
the
relentless activism
listen.
can beat the odds.
I'm not sure if conservatives have the discipline not to make like really off-color jokes about this fella. I bet you. I wonder if are we back, Marco? All I did was search for something on Twitter. Was it an ad run that just happened? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to see if they have the... Dude, you go to the DNC and click on latest on Twitter, and it's just like... I'm scared to like show anything on screen because I don't know what's going to happen if I scroll down, but... They're just like crazy.
I've known Brian and Sandra for years. In fact, Sandra was my personal press secretary. You will not find a more courageous couple. Let's give Brian and Sandra another round of applause. In every election campaign, we Democrats talk about jobs. Now forget for a moment Donald Trump's wild claims. He lost millions of jobs in America. He promised to bring back manufacturing jobs, but he failed. He promised to deliver infrastructure, but he failed.
You know, I should get these stats on hand.
Failure. To put it another way, Donald Trump is like a bad boss. You want time off to take care of your sick parents? Ask Donald Trump. Denied. In Donald Trump's America, there is no paid family leave. Want to have a child, but need IVF? Too bad. That's shut down too. Want a pay raise? Too bad. The boss just gave himself one, so there's nothing left for you.
That was stupid.
Donald Trump reminds us of the boss we all had. The guy who thinks he's a very stable genius, but is driving the company into the ground. Now get this. Donald Trump did make history. Let's give him credit. He is one of only 2 presidents in the history of the United States to leave office with fewer Americans working than when he started. Now he wants a chance to make America unemployed again.
You know what? That is true. It is cringy to cling to the idea that the president's create or lose jobs. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the way that everyone operates. That's the way that everybody looks at it. And it's what Donald Trump campaigns on. You can be upset about like them saying, oh yeah, like we're creating jobs, or, you know, this guy lost this many jobs, but that's what Trump is campaigning on too. Now, in terms of infrastructure, they don't like directly create infrastructure or anything like that. And same with jobs. Like you can draw the line here, and this is where I would draw the line. Where is it on their like list of priorities, right? Where is it on their list of priorities? A president who promises infrastructure and like puts it at the top of their agenda and doesn't deliver it, that's probably not a good look, right? And for, again, I've said this a million times, every single president of my lifetime has said, I'm going to rebuild America's crumbling infrastructure. I think literally every single one. And the only one who's delivered on that was Joe Biden. People get super mad about like the infrastructure bill because it takes a long time. But the only one that like really delivered on, you know, a massive infrastructure bill to, well, it didn't, probably wouldn't have had to be massive if they had just like done something about it way earlier. But like the longer you put it off and the longer that nobody wants to take action on it, the bigger that infrastructure bill is going to have to be. And the only person that was able to get it done was Joe Biden. Biden didn't deliver shit. He got legislation passed. What is the role of the president in your mind? They're the leader of their party, and they're the one that signs legislation into law. And if they're the leader of their party, then they set the agenda for what they try to get passed. And they try to negotiate with people in the Senate and in the House to make that happen. Passing legislation isn't getting something done? What the fuck? I swear to God, you are the most unbelievable fucking person to interact with. Passing legislation isn't getting something done? Can someone translate that for me?
We are hard at work in Phoenix, Mesa, Goodyear, Chandler, and more. Our neighborhoods, schools, and local businesses are growing. Sometimes we have so many projects that we send fabrication out to other states. Our local union is now up to 4,800 trades members. That's up from 2,800 in 2020, thanks to Joe and Kamala.
And it's an exciting time for us in the next generation. Our apprenticeship program now trains over 1,100 people a year. Every year at local high schools, when they announce what graduated seniors are doing next, more and more of these kids are joining the trades. My son is a senior in high school this year, and he plans to join us. Not just for the great career and the financial security that all as parents want for our kids, but it's because he's excited to work on the cutting edge of innovation. Kamala Harris will keep investing in American manufacturing. With her commitment, there's nothing that us American workers can't build.
Please welcome.
It created another document for the Federal Register and National Archives. You're fucking impossible. You're impossible.
I was born in the Buckeye State, and I've never left. Now, J.D. Vance likes to talk about how he's from Ohio, but it's
How do you measure whether a president is successful or not? If that's the case, then a president doesn't accomplish literally anything. There's never been a president who's accomplished a goddamn thing in the entire history of the United States.
senator.
I just genuinely don't understand.
And what has he done for hard-working?
Yeah, nobody here is saying that. Nobody is saying that like it's just like they pop into existence and all these people are automatically employed. It sets the framework and all of the money that these things can be allocated towards, and then those jobs become actualized. I couldn't think of a better word. It takes time. There's a lag. Like anytime you pass legislation, you're going to have a lagging indicator. It's going to be a while before anything actually comes out of it. But that's because things take time to happen. Nothing is happening? That's not true. It takes time? Yeah, it's literally the... no, I'm sorry. This is like actually the most brain dead fucking thing I've literally ever heard from anybody in my entire life. This is actually like a new low for even you. Like there's just like nothing ever happens. Nothing is ever accomplished because like the federal government just like literally doesn't do anything. They just like create pieces of paper that have words on them and then like they sign those and then they jerk themselves off and nothing ever happens because of it. Are you fucking retarded? Are you actually like, I don't know if you have like microcephaly or something. Don't be a child. I want you to explain. Tell me, how does anything get done? Show me the infrastructure projects? No, I want you to first tell me. When you say the government doesn't get anything done, the president doesn't like accomplish anything by signing a law into office, a law being signed into or a bill being signed into law doesn't mean anything was accomplished. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're retarded.
A rare combination of brilliance, legal expertise, and patience.
I can't have him on stream because I'm not going to stream for very much longer, like 10 minutes.
Like to talk about states like Ohio, but Kamala and Joe actually get stuff done for us. And so does our next vice president and my good friend, Governor Tim Walz.
Real quick. J-Mac, do you want to put money down on it? Because I could use some money right now. How much money would you put down? That nothing has happened from any of the bills that Biden has signed into law. It's all just been, you know, deep state, like, I don't even know what your point is. I'm sorry.
Now it is on us to go seize it. Thank you. God bless you.
Please welcome AFSCME President Lee Saunders.
What song is this? I recognize like all these songs that they're playing, but I can't like place them.
IBEW International President Ken Cooper. CWA President Claude Cummings.
Well, not money released, money allocated, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's released. All of our federal tax dollars go towards federal infrastructure, like interstates and shit like that. Are you?
I'm Lee Saunders, president of AFSCME, a union of 1.4 million public service workers in healthcare, corrections, sanitation, and more. You know, 4 years ago, we faced a pandemic and a recession.
With more than 50,000 projects underway that are funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law.
People were going through. Enter Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Within weeks, they passed the American Rescue Plan, pulling the economy back from the brink and putting us back to work. They're guided by a basic principle: more freedom.
1 second.
I've spent my entire life in this town, and I wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
This isn't what I thought it was going to be.
We've had hard times, but we've always found a way forward. From bridges to automobiles to the trees that were left standing in the World Trade Center. Hoods, community. How we do at the steel mill impacts our friends, our neighbors.
Hold on, J-Mac. No, I'm not letting you run away from this. You said that nothing's being done. There's 50,000 projects underway that are funded by the bipartisan infrastructure law. So do you want to change what you're saying? Are you changing it now? That nothing is getting done? It was just a bill that didn't do literally fucking anything? god, that fucking ad is huge. What the fuck? So as of the writing of this article, $400 billion in projects had been announced, covering 40,000 projects in more than 4,500 communities in all 50 states plus the District of Columbia and Native American tribal areas. This project list is a long one, covering airports, bridges, roads, constructing more recharging stations for electric vehicles, getting high-speed internet to get more people on the internet, and on and on. Some will get done really soon, like the Hudson River Tunnel from New York to New Jersey will take a long, or some will get done soon. Some, like the Hudson River Tunnel, will take a long time. Our task is to make sure that they remain on budget. Oh, so now you're just mad about what the things that they're doing for the infrastructure bill. Okay, so it's not that they didn't get anything done, which you're gonna have to walk back now since we just like Googled it. It took a literal fucking Google search to prove you fucking wrong. It's not that they're not doing things that you like, because they're doing things like airports, bridges, roads. It's not just like downtown areas like you're saying. Fucking airports, bridges, roads. You're just mad because you don't personally see them like building out an entire fucking city in front of your eyes. What the fuck is wrong with you? CTV. We were just talking about you like 2 days ago. How's it going, my guy? You're coming in like right as I'm about to like end stream though, like, which is unfortunate, but have I ever done what? Here, let's see what this fella is saying.
Great paying jobs and a stable retirement for all working families. Every step of the way, Kamala Harris has been there for us. She's bringing back American manufacturing to forgotten places throughout our country. She cast
Just fired up the stream myself.
to save our pension.
Well, if you're live, then we'll raid into you, my guy. I think it's a co-stream thing. Yeah, that popped up for me today. I don't know if I'll ever use it. I don't know what it is.
She has came through for all of us, and it's our turn to come through for her.
Yeah, I have no idea. Actually, you know what? If CTV is live right now, critically thinking veteran, we're going to go ahead and we're going to raid into him because I haven't eaten today at all. So we're going to raid into him. CTV is a great dude, lovely fella. We love him a lot. So we're going to, wait, what does it mean invalid username? Raid at critically thinking veteran. I think I know what the deal is. All right, everyone pile into this raid. I would stream with him, but I have food to eat. I love you guys very much. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, and we'll watch the important speeches tomorrow. So we're going to, wait, what does it mean invalid username? Raid.